Every time I've been to Popeyes, they forget to give me any of the ranch or like the dipping sauce, so you're just stuck with a bunch of dry ass chicken. And it's like I only get it whenever I'm working from home or something. I'll do like a little DoorDash action on that. But dude, it's like you don't include
willing to
ranch
wait
with
in
your
line,
chicken.
fuck, dude. If you're
That's
willing
like
to wait
ordering.
for
That's like
DoorDash,
getting Wingstop and they forget to put like. That's like getting Wingstop and they forget to put like freaking buffalo sauce on your chicken.
dude, that's totally true.
Hmm
I've had that happen to me, actually. I've gotten wings delivered from Uber Eats from a wing place, and it came completely dry with no wing sauce on it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, carry out wings are disgusting. You gotta have them fresh. Cause no, don't eat that. Don't eat that. That's a jalapeno. You don't like those, remember? Um, yeah, like a wing spot, it's always gonna be like super, super moist. You get some breaded chicken, but it's nice and wet. It's nice, wet breaded chicken. That's what the people want, and that's what you
No,
pay
dude, that's
$14 for an 8-piece chicken wing at freaking.
no, dude. I go there. I'll either get the all-in bundle.
Oh yeah,
If
that's
I,
good. It comes with like tenders too, doesn't it?
dude, yeah, it's like $23, like after everything is said and done, and it's like literally 4 meals. It's like 6 tenders and like 20 wings. You can do 3 sauces on each. And then it comes with like a large fry and like a large drink or something like that.
Yeah, I like Wingstop, but
Sauces. Like
I mean, it's really the only place that I know of that has just wings around here. Remember, there used to be Wing Run too, but I think they went out of business.
dude, that place was the best fucking wings ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had like the best meat, like the best chicken, but they had like their sauce was just okay. Like Wingstop has the best sauce, but their chicken is like barely okay.
I'm pretty
Like
sure
it's
Wing Run got bought out by Pizza Hut.
oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah, because they sell the
Now they
Wing
have the
Run wings or whatever.
yeah.
Huh.
So whack, dude.
No, yeah, that place was really because that's what I don't like. Like I'll get bone-in wings, like that's my preference, but
Me too.
every time I order them, they have like they're just like these little tiny ass wings and they're just no meat. It's just like this bony thing with so like you're basically just eating breading and it's just not good.
Yeah, yeah. They're never. I don't really like the real fat wings either, though, because some
Oh,
of
me
them
either.
are just like full of like literally fat or something. Like the chicken is not tasty in
Well,
it.
right, and see, that's the only reason I prefer Popeyes as far as like chicken tenders go because they're always like thin. Like I
Mm.
like a nice thin piece of chicken. Like even whenever I've made like just like homemade chicken nuggets, I always take a chicken breast, butterfly it, and then pound it down to like about half an inch thick or less. That way, whenever you fry it, because like when you fry stuff, it like bunches up and gets thicker. Like that's what like even Cane's does that with their chicken fingers. Like if I get one, it's like god, these are all like 2 inches thick. Disgusting. I'm not eating that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of weird about my chicken too, but I will eat fried chicken, dude. Like,
Yeah. If it's on the bone, at least you understand what's going on. Like whenever it's
yeah,
like a tender or a
dude.
breast, you don't know what type of meat you're getting.
Here in East Tampa, dude, I had some of the most transcending fucking like the double breaded KFC original shit. Oh, your Wi-Fi is cutting out, dude.
UV.
You're completely frozen. We need some comic relief. Let's get somebody else in there.
Whoops, there we go. I had to switch to LTE there. Yeah, those herbs and spices can really get you going here. Yeah, let's check out my garden. So I got a couple of rows of potatoes right there. They're
Oh,
doing
oh.
okay for
And you got
now.
some
They're doing
squash, or is that grass clippings?
That's all. Yeah, it's all grass clippings. I originally hilled them up with like a bunch of compost. It's actually that landscaper mix that I like to use because it's like halfway. It's like half soil, half mulch. So it's perfect for like good drainage. That's actually what my entire garden bed is. It's all just that landscaper mix. But yeah, I just put the grass clippings on top because I'm kind of in a competition with Chance as far as these potatoes are concerned, and his are doing way better than mine. And he did the Ruth Stout method with the straw, and that's like the way to go. Oh, here, let me add in our guest here. Oh, yeah, bunch of white noise. But yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get going. Is yes, that Ruth Stout next year is what I'm gonna do. Damn it, Bruce stepped on all my flowers that I planted here for the pollinators.
Oh, it's just Connor. He's not on a laptop.
Oh no, I'm on a phone.
I guess. What kind of food do we like better?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. When you joined,
What?
whenever you joined, like, we can go back in time to every episode that we've done.
It's just a bunch of noise.
Every time you join, it's always so fucking loud.
It's just. It sounds like a jet afterburner. Oh yeah, here's my my snow peas. I'm pretty proud of these. This is my row of snow peas here.
Damn, those motherfuckers are tall as shit.
Yeah, they're big, and see, they got a bunch of flowers on them now and stuff. I got these. Those are all turned into beans.
I'm drinking Cold Snap, and they have snap peas, and cold is kind of like snow, so it's really like snow pea beer.
Basically, I mean, that's what these like. They like all temperatures below 90 degrees, and they grow on a trellis.
Dude, I felt fucking great stepping outside of work wearing my heavy ass coat and it being like whatever the temperature is.
Dude, I haven't worn jeans in like 2 weeks.
Me either.
It's nice.
Dude.
It's really nice.
Dude, I still wear my jacket every day.
Look at that bare legs, dude.
Somebody's
tearing up your
my
legs?
garden.
No, I'm just not wearing jeans.
Why would you shave your legs, bud?
I have a fuck ton of fucking bug bites all over my ankles from shoveling all that mulch on Sunday.
That's where all those dragonflies came from, man. I swear. I wasn't even joking when I sent that.
I got literally like the no-see-em bugs in my legs. I swear they itch so bad.
Dude, dragonflies are great.
I got dragonflies growing in my ankles, yo.
Dude, they're gonna kill off all the other bugs.
I'm playing in the garden, and I'm wearing very white shoes to be playing in the garden right now. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, you need to get a laptop so you with being non-landscape.
Yeah, I went to the emergency room. Check out my arm.
Oh, did you post a picture of it on your Instagram and then not explain to anybody why you're in the hospital?
Wait.
They
missed the vein?
No, I just got a lot of blood, so yeah, some of it leaked out.
No, whenever they try to put an IV in you and they miss the vein, then you get a big bruise on your arm like that. I've had a lot of I had to get my brain scanned or whatever.
Because the nurse is just like some dumb girl straight out of high school.
And I'd end up with a big bruise on my arm like that.
They didn't actually miss. Like they got it the first time, but that vein has been poked a lot, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Maybe you just have translucent veins or something.
Yeah, I got me some fucking.
If anybody does, it's me. Have you not seen my skin? Like, you can see my veins.
Yeah, your embryo chest.
You know what's weird? Like, whenever I first started dating Lauren, she like grabbed my arm and then started like poking my inner elbow, and she's like, "Wow, you have great veins." And I was like, "Oh, that's not something I want to hear from you." Like, why would you say something like that?
I mean,
that's
not the first time I've ever heard someone say that, though.
Well, I know it's such a weird thing to say, but I have like fetal skin.
People will say that shit all the fucking time for some reason.
Oh wow, I really want to poke your veins. It's like, okay,
I was talking to this girl
a little
once,
bit too much Twilight growing up,
and she was telling me she's in medical school and whatever.
Too many fucking translucent dicks, dude. Probably.
Are you Team Edward or Team?
Bro, I got a
the
beautiful
guy?
fucking dick vein. I don't want to hear that shit. It's like the identifying mark.
Here.
Huh?
There's random people at my house. I might have to go. You can stay on if you want that.
I thought he was saying that because of my comment just now.
Okay, Brady.
Oh no, he's got his. I think it's his old neighbors that like to come by and run marathons.
Oh, they like to come in and reminisce about the house they lived in 40 years ago.
That would suck, honestly. Like if you had a. Like, could you imagine buying a house that was like featured in a movie or something like that? Like, you would just be nonstop, like people just stopping in front of your house taking pictures all the time. That would be like a nightmare.
That shit would annoy the fuck out of me.
Well, they do, like, you know how they blur out houses on like Google Maps. That's like the reason they do that.
Oh, there was a movie that had a scene filmed at Turkey Mountain.
Oh, really?
Hey, buddy.
Oh. Well, also, in Tulsa, there's like the Outsiders house. That's pretty.
Hey, how's it going?
Who's that thing?
Who's that?
She's a little wild. She's happy. You just gotta give her a big hug or something.
Oh, I think it's Brad's friends.
All right.
Oh. Wait, you're already leaving? The fuck?
Yep, I have to.
Okay,
Wait,
bye,
no.
Devin.
If I end it, will it end? Text me if it does.
Oh, it didn't end. What do you know?
I guess it doesn't end. Damn, a whole 11 minutes.
So
Hey.
listen to this. I heard there's this kid I went to high school with. I found out recently that he went to rehab for World of Warcraft. He went to rehab for World of Warcraft.
The fuck?
I didn't know they would accept people like that, or like insurance would pay for it.
It makes sense, I guess. It's literally a addiction, but still.
I know, isn't that a terrible thing? It's like, oh, can you explain this gap in your resume? Oh, yeah, I went to rehab for playing a RPG from the 90s.
Yeah, that shit gives you little bits of dopamine, and your brain gets addicted to it.
Well, no, like the like Second Life or whatever. Remember that was that was right before like Sims came out, and like people.
Dude, I think that shit still exists.
That was the funniest thing. Like I remember having Sims. Like I first got it like in middle school just so I could make people like get stuck in a room and piss themselves.
Yeah, I used to play that with Abbott. He'd always make sure the characters were wearing leather pants. So when they piss themselves, it'd be worse.
They would get uncomfortable really fast.
Yeah.
They always wore leather pants. And that's not a gay thing. That's just that's like a masochistic thing.
Yeah. Oh, that shit was great.
What you doing, Heather? Get over here. Go back up.
Dude, I could have sworn I took that hookah to my house.
I didn't even know it was here. Like I have not seen that since we moved in, and it's in the Chris Knight cabinet.
That's what I thought.
Which is funny because I keep the cat food in here and I open it every single day, and I've never even noticed that that's in there.
It's a flower.
But that's the deal. It's like there's a box in front of it, so I guess it's back here.
Oh shit! Yep.
And it's all the pieces are there.
For some reason,
I didn't even realize. Well, me too. I didn't even realize you had a red one. I thought you were talking about the one from like 2014.
Yeah, the green one.
Well, remember it was like really tiny and it like snapped in half.
And
that's the one. Yeah, it was like because like
green.
we had to fix it like 4 times. Like we kept like having to add like different nuts and washers on it because it was just like that cheap pot metal stuff. And yeah, so I didn't even know that there was a second one, but I guess I do have it. So if you want to grab that, feel free.
Might do that tomorrow.
Shisha or whatever.
Yeah, I was wanting to sit. Shit, I need like an outdoor couch and like a whole fucking like setup like Mitchell and Alden had, or shit, even Devin's house. Let's go hang out with Dave and Alicia.
I honestly just want a covered back porch,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
like
getting at.
just covered. Like that's all I want is just like a roof to where you can hang out when it's raining or something.
Yeah,
Um, Honestly, I was looking at like cool ways to like design houses, and I saw one the other day where it was like literally 50-50. Like the back porch was half the size of the inside of the house. It was huge. Like, and I think that's a good idea, especially when you live somewhere like here where it's nice like 9 months out of the year, or at least
yeah, that'd be
bearable.
okay. I don't know. You'd have to. I really would like to, like, the whole living in a bus idea, but having it on a piece of land where it's you have a pretty sizable chunk of land and you just use all the extra space for like fancy garden in the front, and you could have like a
Oh yeah.
pool and everything,
Have you been?
and then
What?
just make a little curve around driveways that the bus can be, it has two ends, so you can literally just pull it around.
Yeah. Have you watched any of like those van life videos or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hate the whole culture behind it. Those people are annoying as fuck, but
Yeah, me too, because it's always like, yeah, this only cost us $30,000, and we're going on a trip for 2 months. It's like, oh, wait, so neither of you have jobs, and you just spent $30,000 upfitting a old, old like Nissan van? Like that's weird. Like, where does it's so weird because it's honestly, whenever you look at it, it's always like spoiled kids, and then they make like YouTube videos about it, and then they make more money off the YouTube videos. But
it's
honestly, the coolest
always
shit is like get like an old like UPS truck and turn it into a house. That'd be sick.
that'd be cool. The only reason I like the bus idea so much is because it gives you room to actually fucking run around and have like a washer and dryer and shit in it.
Oh yeah, but same thing with UPS trucks. And what's cool about or like FedEx trucks, I guess. What's cool about that is that from the cab, it has like a solid like steel locking door before you can get into the cargo area. And then same thing on the back. It's like way more secure than a school bus would be because you don't have all those freaking windows and stuff.
Yeah,
And they're meant to actually carry more of a payload because when you think about it, like if you have a school bus and then you build out the entire interior and then you start adding in, like a 100-gallon water tank, propane tanks, all that stuff, you end up exceeding the weight as if you were carrying 60 kids, like that's what it's meant
yeah,
for is like 60 people that weigh 70 pounds each. So like with a UPS truck though, they're meant to hold like payload wise. So that means like the rear axle can hold I think it's like 25,000 pounds without it like driving terrible and like bottoming out and all that stuff all the time, like bending the
yeah.
axles. But they're super cheap too. Like they're the same price as a school bus. You can get a decent one for like $4,000. And that's
Yeah, it's
what's
not
nuts is
bad.
they have to be reliable. Yeah, even more so than I think they get used more than a school bus would, like a FedEx truck. So
I
they're
saw
pretty neat.
a prison bus earlier, so all the windows were small and like basically, I don't know if you'd say armored, but you
Oh,
can't
they have
just
the
bust up the
bars.
windows. Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
they were slits.
Huh. That's weird. Well, I've seen that before too, where somebody converted a prison bus. Well, actually, it was a prisoner transport bus for like the Texas Department of Corrections or something like that. But it was one of those the flat front school buses. Like it has like the flat front on it, and those are cool too because they're it seems like they're longer on the inside, but overall they have the same like outside length.
See, I've been kind of looking around Tulsa, but there's not really shit around for land anyway. At least not in
No,
this
Tulsa
area.
sucks. Tulsa's garbage, dude. I've been trying to find even just like 4 acres somewhere, and it's just not worth it. And that's the other
How
thing
big
too
is
is
an
like you don't want
acre?
to. Oh, an acre I would say is okay. So our the beige or like brownish orange house
Like,
that we had in Stillwater on Sunset,
like
that
compared to
one.
that?
Okay, well the yard that you're in right now is probably like a sixth of an acre.
Huh. It's a lot smaller than I thought.
Well, Bucky has 7 acres, if that makes sense.
I hmm. So
And it
does this
doesn't
land go
seem
to the train tracks? I guess.
Yeah, all the way to the train tracks. In between the train tracks and the road, that entire plot that he has is like 7.2 acres, I think. And it
Huh.
doesn't seem that big when you're out there, but when you look at it on a map, it like takes up a very big footprint. Um, but geez, even something like that, that's the only thing I don't like is the idea of like, oh, I got to drive at least 45 minutes to work every day. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. I want it like whatever direction. I guess like south of here with my house.
Yeah. South sucks. West isn't too bad. North is scary. And then northeast by like Catoosa and Claremore, that's okay, but it's like still pretty far out there. But there's also nothing for sale out there. I got on Zillow like 2 weeks ago, and I put in like a price limit of like I think it was 230 or $240,000, which basically, if I got a mortgage, would just be around the same price that I'm paying right now for rent, like for a mortgage payment, like around 1,200 a month, like limit. Like I don't want to pay more than that for a mortgage. And
Yeah.
nowadays, all they can get is like up to about $250,000. Like 5 years ago, that would have gotten you up to like $500,000. But but that's the thing is like I just put in a search for Glenpool, Catoosa, and Sand Springs for a house with at least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms for less than 230, 240. And in Glenpool, there was only 2 results. In Catoosa, there were 0 results. And in Sand Springs, there was a bunch of results, but they were all like super ghetto and like really tiny yards. I mean, like a
How
yard
are
the
you even
size of
supposed
a
to
normal
find
person's
like
house.
land? Like
Well, you just go on
that's
Zillow and you just filter it by like land without houses or land for development. But then there's another website. I forgot what it's called, but it's more exclusively to just like big plots of land, and I think it was called like Ranch Finder or something like that. I don't remember, but
oh
that
fuck.
one
You
has
know
like
what?
different listings on it.
Got an idea. You go and just knock up a girl on farmers only and inherit land.
Dude, you don't have to go on Farmers Only. Like everybody we know has been doing that on Tinder. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just marry this rich girl and get a free house whenever we get married." And it's like that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh
Yeah, but
yeah,
farmers
we
only
just
they're gonna have a whole ranch.
yeah, I suppose so. But see, that's the thing is like land. It's weird because I don't really know what changed as far as land goes because like obviously land isn't. It does get affected by housing prices, but there's nothing built on it, so it's like the value really is just blank, I guess. But
Yeah.
like I remember a couple of years ago, like when I was just daydreaming and just like, Googling like, oh, how much does 50 acres cost? How much does 200 acres cost? You could find listings everywhere in Oklahoma with like tons of land. Like you could buy like an entire square mile, like 700 acres. And nowadays, like there's not even listings for it. And if it is, it's like commercial land, which
Yeah.
technically you can buy that and make it residential, but that's an extra 30 grand in like lawyer fees and all that shit that you have to deal with.
Um,
Um,
I feel like
just
it's
a
because
lot of money.
People are starting to realize that Oklahoma is actually a good place to build shit.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I think like we all have a thing of like you grow up here and you're like, Oklahoma sucks. I want to move to California or whatever. And it's like once you kind of stay here, like get a job, and then you realize like, oh wow, this is like an affordable place to live. There's plenty of cool restaurants, and if it's not cool enough in Tulsa, just drive an hour and 45 minutes to Oklahoma City. And if you don't like
Yeah, I
that because it's too
mean,
big of a city, just drive out to the country. Like there's plenty of stuff here, and it's
Oklahoma's
all
kind
cheap.
of dead center too, so you can just go anywhere with about the same amount of travel time. You know,
Well, and
California,
it's a big
Florida.
major hub. It's a big hub for industry too, especially like oil and gas. Because I mean, that's kind of like, oh, like Tulsa and Glenpool specifically is like where the oil boom started. But there's so many of those legacy companies like around here that they're really not going to go anywhere. So like they employ thousands of people, stuff like that. So it is kind of weird though, because like you drive around town, you're like, how the hell is everybody like rich? It makes no sense. Like you drive around Midtown, you're like, how are there 5,000 very wealthy people even living here? And it all goes back to like that old money. So like our generation, we won't be able to do stuff like that unless we just hit it big with who knows what. But it is pretty crazy to think of like the diversity here as far as like there's very poor people, but there's also very wealthy people, but it's also not a big city. Like you usually only see that stuff in like big, like urban areas, but like Tulsa's pretty
I
diverse in
mean,
that way. But
yeah,
everybody kind of mixes together. As far as like the North Side people, I honestly I don't even think they really exist because they kind of stay to their own. But everywhere like south of like downtown, everybody kind of mixes together, which is pretty
yeah,
cool because like a lot of
you gotta think about it
cities
because
don't do
their
that.
vehicles can't make it outside of the north side.
Yeah,
So
I guess that. Well, or what vehicles? You mean they're freaking stolen bike? I don't know.
yeah, dude, it's like
Stolen
the
bicycle.
fucking Oregon Trail to get out the south side.
Yeah, whenever you go up north, like the mode of transportation is always some like old, like raggedy, like it's a white crackhead dude, but he looks like purple from how like sunburnt he is. And he's always got like three shopping carts full of like just sleeping bags and stuff.
Dude, the shopping cart homeless around Brookside are fucking insane.
Well, it's crazy how much junk they will haul around with them. It like that has to be such a burden, right? Like they don't need that. They're like a hoarder, but they're homeless.
There was 4 or 5 shopping carts parked next to the bus stop like a day ago.
Yeah, that's how you
Like,
know you're in a good neighborhood whenever you see a bunch of abandoned shopping carts from stores that went out of business 10 years ago.
I saw an older lady pushing a small child in a shopping cart today whenever I left work. And it had a fucking blue handle on it, so it must have been from Walmart. And I don't know where there's a Walmart at over there.
Oh, you're right. They're even like a neighborhood market, and neighborhood markets use the green handles.
Yeah.
And there's not a
Yeah.
super center anywhere around there, like anywhere around. I think it's at actually the closest one is at 91st and what is that, Lewis, where like the like ORU is. Like that's where the nearest shopping center is over by ORU.
I guess 5 miles isn't horrible, but
That's a long way for a shopping cart to make it. Like I can barely get one through the freaking store because it's got all the flat wheels and stuff, and it like keeps
I don't
grinding.
know how the fuck this old lady had one with a fucking kid in it.
Well, that's I'm more wondering like where did the kid come from? Did she also get it from
That's what I'm
Walmart?
saying. Like, what the fuck? Who uses that as a fucking stroller?
Yeah, that's a weird scenario. But I've seen worse, honestly. When I worked at Quick Trip, we found a dead home. Well, we didn't because I literally just showed up for my shift, and I took the trash out, took it out to the dumpster, and then there was another guy running trash out as well. He was just doing like the other half of it, but he started like 15 minutes after I did. And yeah, I took the trash out, got it thrown in the dumpster, went back inside, and like 15 minutes
Yeah.
later, an ambulance shows up, and the other guy that was taking out the trash after me said, "Oh yeah, I took the trash, put it in the dumpster, and there's a dead homeless guy behind the dumpster." And so they had to call IMSA and like take him away and stuff. But I was like, "Oh my god, I literally just threw the trash in that dumpster 5 minutes ago, and I didn't see a homeless guy." So it was behind the dumpster, and like like I was like, I didn't know I was in the presence of a dead person when I did that. That would have been crazy. I'm glad I didn't find it. That would have been weird.
It wasn't really a dead homeless guy. He just shed his skin, and that's why it happened so quickly.
Yeah, they molt. They start molting whenever the June bugs come out of the ground every year.
Thank you. I saw a June bug last week.
Oh yeah, we have way too many mayflies and all this stuff. I've been trying to get the cat to eat them, but they're always on the ceiling, so I have to like hold her up there to grab them and stuff.
Yeah, she
Or
doesn't
you know
fuck
what
with that.
mayflies are? They're like the daddy long legs with wings. I hate those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're okay. They don't fuck with me.
Well, they always like land on me, and you can't really feel them. But then you'll see one, you're like, yeah, like you'll see one on your arm, you're like, I didn't even feel it there. It's like terrifying.
Yeah, they're sketchy looking.
Yeah, so we went to the zoo today, and honestly, it was pretty cool. But they didn't have any like the mammals out, like any of the cool like tigers and shit. And I'm starting to think they don't actually have them because the past like 2 times I've been last time I went to the zoo was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. and they didn't have them then either. So
Yeah, the
like,
zoo always kind of sucks. Not really.
oh man, it was the worst. You would have loved it. We got there and it was just millions of school buses, and it was just like a giant. Like, I didn't realize this was like the last week of school. So every
Is it?
single elementary school, yeah. So like every single elementary
Ah,
schooler
shit.
in the Tulsa area was going to the zoo as a field trip.
It
And
kind
dude,
of
I shit you
sucks.
not, there was like 60 or 70 different groups of 5 or more people wearing matching T-shirts, and it was just insane. Like, I don't know. As I've gotten older, just like being around that many people, I just hate. 'Cause it's like I don't want to hear other people's conversations. I don't want to see other people scolding their kids. I'm just here to try to see a freaking sea lion or something, like. And honestly, it was literally just a bunch of moms yelling at their kids. It was insane. It was
Yeah, that
absolute.
shit
It was
annoys
just
me.
a.
And that means
It
it's
was
gonna
a
be a lot
fucking.
worse
It was.
coming up too.
It was a shit show. But yeah, that's the deal. It's like, oh my god, could you imagine like having to go on a field trip like as a chaperone? Like, it would do that for fun. Like, that doesn't look fun. It's like, hey kids, this is gonna be a great experience. We're gonna take you to the zoo, so a bunch of other people's parents yell at you. Like, isn't that gonna be a fun memory for you? It makes
Yeah.
no freaking sense. But I don't know. I guess maybe I think schools get in for like free or something, so that's like the cheapest, easiest option. Because when I was in school, we went to like Little or Wooler Rock, and that place was badass. Did
What
you
is
ever go
that?
there? Yeah, it's up by Pawhuska. It's like it's up on the Tallgrass Prairie Reserve, and it's like a museum, but it's from this guy. Woolarock was his last name, but he was like one of the founding members of ConocoPhillips, and he was just like super rich in the early 1900s, and like traveled the world and just collected all this really cool shit. Like, he's got like Aztec like ritual masks and stuff in there. Like, it's this really cool museum, but it's also like a nature preserve where it's like a drive-through safari. So they have all these like zebras and like buffalo and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like a 2.5 hour drive north of here. Um, it's up
All
by
I
like
ever
the
went to
Kansas
was
state
like
line.
Exchange City, or we went to the movies once.
I never went there. We did that same thing, like, but it was at our school. Like, we didn't go somewhere to do it, but we all had to
That's
like
kind of
spend
lame.
a week like making stuff, and then the next week we all like sold it.
Um, yeah, the one we went to was just a day. What?
Well, yeah, it's one of those.
Oh yeah, thank you.
It's one of those liminal spaces.
Nah.
That's what Exchange City is. It's like a liminal space. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Have you ever heard of? God, I forgot what it's called. It's this really cool like style of art, but it's called like. Oh yeah,
Superliminal?
no, Dreamcore. You know what
Oh
Dreamcore
fuck!
is?
I just saw Scissor Tail.
Oh hell
That's
yeah,
cool.
get some flies. But yeah, Dreamcore is basically just like very. It's like art. It's like where you take a picture of a neighborhood and then like make all the streets into a mirror, and then it just looks like really mystical, even though it's based on something in reality. It's kind of like if somebody manually did the Google, whatever it's called, where it's like
Oh,
the AI.
Deep Dream.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like that, except if somebody did it like manually. It's like not,
Hmm.
it's like that minus the AI. Um, but that's exactly what it is. It's always like an empty indoor water park, and it's like a picture of that, but the lighting's weird, so it looks like it's CGI, but it's not. It's always just like cool stuff like that. It's like pictures that look fake, but they're real.
I like
Um,
those diving training facilities that are like flooded out little cities or something. Have you seen those?
oh, where
It's like
like the
a
guy, like where the guy just keeps zooming in like on a painting, and it keeps revealing like new
no, it's like a
universes.
real place. It's like a whole diving training center that's like you go down this big ass shaft and it's
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like 200 feet. It's an indoor diving. It's in Saudi Arabia or like Dubai, isn't it?
oh fuck. I mean, if it is, I don't really want to go there, but seems
No, I
cool.
actually watched. There's a guy on YouTube I think you'd really like. His name's Peter Santinello, but all he does is like he's like a journalist, but he's not a journalist. Like he just goes places that seem really dangerous. It's just him and a camera, and then he just meets people, and like they will just like take him to dinner and all this stuff. Like, so he did one where he went to Saudi Arabia, and it was oh gosh, I forgot what like their capital city there's called. It's called Riyadh. I don't know if you've heard of that, Riyadh. But
I thought it was Dubai.
basically, yeah, it's where in Saudi Arabia that like just recently they basically turned it into the West. Like they allow women to drive now. You don't have to wear a headdress. Like basically like the caliphate or whatever the hell you want to call it. Like the religious part of it like isn't in control anymore. So it basically is turned into like the Saudi version of like California or something. So like yeah, I was watching a video of this guy. He just shows up. He just like shows up outside the airport. He finds somebody who speaks English. They recommend him somewhere to go. He goes there. He meets somebody. Some dude just drives him around all day because they're so excited to see an American. And it's really cool because he does that with so he does that with Saudi Arabia. He does it in Iran. He lived in Ukraine for like 5 years up until about a year ago, and he does a bunch of stuff on that. Also, like all these ghost towns that are like in the desert of like Nevada and California, where it's literally just anarchy. It's like an abandoned town where like 60 people still live, and there's no cops, there's no government at all. And he just like shows up trying to figure out what these places are about. There's one where he also hangs out with like a Hasidic Jewish family in New York City for like a week. There's another one I really like where he actually hangs out with a ton of Amish people for like a week, and like it's just really cool because it kind of gives you a glimpse in all these people or all these places, well, and people that you think would be like, oh no, they're gonna hate me or they're gonna, they're probably, see me as an enemy or something. But it's like it's pretty cool because like honestly, I feel like that's the only way you should travel is just like meet with locals, hang out,
It sounds like a guy I
stuff like
saw
that.
that made a video where they went to Egypt. The title's "Don't Go to Egypt," and the guy like showed up and got a bunch of shit at the airport because he had all this equipment, and then he went to the his hotel, and the fucking hotel manager, not even like someone in a position of law or anything like that, like searched all of their bags and they found their radios that they used to communicate, and they flipped shit like, well, why do you have these? What do you need radios for? And they seized all their shit, and then they didn't get back until they left the country, and they basically had to pay these fees that were all made up for literally everything, like oh, you need a fee to get your cameras back, you need a fee to go to this area, and they like wouldn't let you leave unless you paid them or some shit, and like some real fucky shit, like made me not ever want to go to Egypt.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, that's kind of how Mexico is too, except you can actually like pay off the cops if you have enough
Yeah,
money.
I mean in Mexico there's at least some order, but this place seemed fucked. Like you couldn't do anything.
Oh, dude, Egypt's wild. I used to be friends with this guy who was from Egypt, and he would go there every single summer and send me pictures. Yeah, you probably know him, Ahmad. I think he went
I
to Union.
know I know a lot of the mods.
Yeah, he went to Union, but yeah, he would go. I don't think it was Egypt. I think he was from like Alexandria, which is actually pretty close, I guess.
Isn't that in Greece?
No, Alexandria, Egypt is like that's where like the Library of Alexandria was. That got burned down
Oh,
in like the
okay.
1300s, and but it's like right across the river from Egypt, basically. But I remember him sending me pictures, or like it's just on his Snapchat or whatever. Probably, oh geez, this is probably 8 or 9 years ago at this point. But like he got like a rental car, and it wasn't like a rental car here. It was like a 40-year-old car that was like beat up, and it was like a rental, and it was from the airport. And then he was like, yeah, like you can just drive on whatever side of the road you want there. Like it's basically like the traffic just meshes together. It's like total chaos, but it works somehow. But that's
It's
the
like
thing is like I imagine
those
their
Asian
government's like that
countries
too.
where they don't have Like if you want to go through traffic, you just walk straight, and people are supposed to avoid you.
Yeah,
Type of
exactly. Like you see like that like a time lapse of an intersection, and like there's just it's like everybody's weaving through each other. It's weird.
But yeah, that's fucking sketchy. It's literally a roller skating rink.
Same thing with like in South America, like on those cliff sides, like on the mountains and stuff. There's like a bus, and it's just like it's on like it's like on a road that's like 6 inches too narrow for the bus to go down, but on one side
Yeah.
it's like a 4,000 foot drop off, and then yeah, they just come around the corner and there's another car there, and they just stop and they're like, oh, yep, no big deal, we'll just back up. And it's like a bus full of like 100 people. It's fucking crazy.
That shit's so fucking. I mean, I'm sure the news wouldn't make it here, but you don't really hear those going over the edge.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like they really, I think that's probably pretty rare. Same thing with like pedestrians getting hit. I think that's pretty rare. But that's the deal. I guess people are just more, I don't know. Like a lot of people there aren't staring at their phones and shit while they're driving. I guess they're like less distracted.
Yeah, they're also chewing specific leaves that turn out to be like cocaine leaves or something.
Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot what that's called. It's oh yeah, that
What?
dude I was telling you about in one of the videos. I think it was in Belize or something like that. He got some of that stuff. I forgot what it's called. It's called like chaca or like mock. No, it
Coca.
wasn't mock. Yeah,
Matcha?
that's it wasn't maca because that's what's in Arrested
Maca root.
Development.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that. And like somebody gave it to him. He's like, I think this is drugs, but I don't do drugs, so I'm just gonna give this to the next person I see. And that's what he did basically. And like the dude, he's like, judging by how happy that guy was for me to give that to him, it's definitely drugs.
Shit.
But yeah, that'd be cool. It's just like I don't know. You just have to be ready to like be pickpocketed or like kidnapped. If you do it alone, I guess. But
I
that's what happened to
mean,
my cousin. He went to Ireland and Spain, like right after college, and just backpacked like around Western Europe. And he got, yeah, he like basically like while he was asleep on a train going in between a couple of countries, like a couple of dudes just like came up to him and just took all of his shit and just ran off. And yeah, he actually had to like go to like the U.S. consulate or something, and in somewhere in Ireland, he had like called the embassy just to confirm his identity because like all of his stuff was stolen, like his passport and all that. But then,
fuck.
like even after that, he ended up staying there for like another month or two because like he ended up getting everything back. He was able to get some more money like out of his bank account, and then he was just good to go. And
I mean, there's tricks. You know, you keep some zip ties on you and your shoelaces to get out of zip ties, but zip ties will get you out of handcuffs. And then, you know, you just need something to cut rope, I guess.
right, well, and that's what is funny because it's like if you were to get like kidnapped or something here in America, at least you could kind of get an idea of like what the organization behind it is. But there, it's like, oh, I don't know, that would just be random dudes, like you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the harder thing is you can't understand what the fuck they're saying, so you don't know if it's like, you know, you're in
Yeah,
a room built out of fucking dirt, but you might still be captured by their special forces for all you
yeah,
know.
it's like you're in a. Uh, it's like you're in like South America somewhere, and then like these dudes pick you up, and they keep saying "Fiesto, Fiesto," and you're like, "Oh yeah, party," but like Fiesto is like the Colombian word for like rape and murder or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
just some happy-go-lucky traveler's like, "Oh yeah, Fiesto, that sounds awesome." It's like, well, he agreed to it, so
They're
can
like
we?
beckoning to you. They've got their hands out like Fiesto, Fiesto.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come here, come get to my cutter. I have Fiesto for you. And he's like, we're going to sacrifice you in front of my family. That's what it turns into. Yeah, stuff like that cracks me up. But I don't know. I really want to start traveling more. It's just so freaking expensive, and like you have to plan. That's what I'm not good at. I'm not good at like planning stuff out months and months ahead of time.
Well, I mean, if I didn't have fucking loans, I mean, I would do that shit right now.
You don't got to pay them back until August, I think. They extended the student loan thing again.
Yeah, I suppose I could just. Oh fuck, is that a bat? I hope it is.
Probably.
There's
I've
only
got
one
a ton of
animal.
bats over here. I've got like probably right now. I'll look out my window. I bet I can see probably 3 or 4.
That might be a fucking bat. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
flying
it
kind of
probably
high.
is.
I haven't
They
seen
love
them out here.
mosquitoes.
No, it might be a bird. Uh, I mean,
We have them all the time. It's kind of weird because like you never expect to see them, but you're like, oh yeah, it's dark and there's a bunch of birds, and it's like, nope, those are bats.
So like, I get a paycheck of around $800, then take 2 weeks off. So I'd have to stretch that for 4 weeks basically. So
Well, see,
it's
that's the
not.
deal. You gotta like save up for like a few months before you can like start planning that stuff. But then you realize like you could save up for 3 months, and then it's something like, oh, the place I wanted to go got wrapped up in a war, so I can't go there anymore. You know what I mean? Like it just sucks.
Well,
Like
yeah, going to a
it's,
war-torn country should be cheap though, right?
I guess, and honestly, there's some dude I follow on Twitter. I think his name's I forgot what his username is, but it's like the Lord Miles or something. And he's the guy. He's from, I think he's from Ireland or Scotland maybe. But like as soon as like the Afghanistan evacuation or whatever happened last summer, he went over there like during it. He's like, I'm gonna go hang out. Or yeah, that's what it was. Remember all the videos of like the Taliban like taking over like an amusement park and stuff like that, and they're all just hanging out. And this guy's like, I'm gonna fly over there and try to go find the Taliban and see what they're all about. And he actually did it and like did not get killed or anything. And he's like a blonde hair, blue eye guy from like Scotland. Goes over and
Have you
hangs out
ever
with the
seen how
Taliban.
fucking like they're all carefree looking? Like it's literally a bunch of stupid ass people.
No, it's
So
like
whatever.
whenever you see a bunch of deer like in a residential area at night, and you're
Yeah.
just like, and they don't really seem like they know what they're doing. Like they're all just digging through the trash, and they're like, oh, what is this? A box for a PS5? That's crazy. What is this? You know, it's like it's seriously like letting a bunch of wild animals loose inside of an IKEA, and they realize, oh, wow, that's kind of a cool coffee table. You know?
It's literally the fucking alternative school. That's what it is. Those people.
Yeah, it's fucking great, but yeah, that same dude that like went to like go find Al Qaeda, he was going over to Ukraine, or this is actually back in March, but he went to Ukraine like in the whatever the town was where it was like they got a bunch of sick people and put them all in like one community center and they ended up bombing it. But this dude like went over there and just like was hanging out with people for like 3 weeks and then like flew into the country, no problems, and then like hung out with some people who like, oh yeah, my house got exploded, so I moved in with my family here in this area, and that's why we're here. He just hung out there for like a few weeks and just came back, no problem. It's like, how do people do that? That's insane.
I know it's
I
like
guess you just got to be
pretty
ready to
cheap
die.
to live in like Europe and shit, right? So like to backpack at least, right? So
Oh yeah,
like the most expensive
hostels.
spot is to fly over there and then you're good. You have a little bit of
Exactly. Because
money.
like once you're there, like you can take a train ticket all the way from like freaking France to probably all the way like to like Austria or Poland, and it's probably like the equivalent of like $80.
I mean, shit, they're literally like the size of the U.S. It's like going across the country. Like you hop on a train for a couple hours and suddenly you're in a whole different country.
Well, yeah, that's what's wild because apparently going all the way from Portugal to, oh damn, I forgot what it was. I think it was like it's only halfway across like most of Western Europe. So like from Portugal all the way to I think it was like the Netherlands, which is just like smack dab in the middle of Europe. Like that's halfway across the country or like across the continent for them. But for us, it would be like going, just driving across the state of Kentucky. That's all it is. Just driving across the
Yeah,
state of Kentucky. Like that's insane. So like you could
yeah,
make
that'd
it
be really
across the
cool.
entire continent in like, well, I don't know what their highway situation is, but like if it was set up like American highways, you could make it across the entire continent in probably 9 hours. It's really not
If I
that
had a
big.
job that I could do off of a computer, like some work from home type of shit, I would definitely do that. Like, why
Well, I
not?
mean, that's kind of what I would like to do even now. Like just like I've talked to people before that are like nearing retirement age and all they do is like travel work for IT. They'll just travel across the country doing different projects. And I've talked to several people. They're like in their late 50s. They just live in an RV with their wife and they just travel to like a different place every 3 months. Like he's like, yep, I got a job in Texas, so we're driving to Texas for the next 3 months. And then once that's over, it's like, okay, we're going back up to Connecticut. Like stuff like that. That'd be freaking honestly, like as a retirement, if you don't have to worry about like raising kids and all that stuff, that's awesome. That's like the
If
best
I
way you could
couldn't
do
find
it.
an engineering job that would allow me to do that, I think probably once I paid off the loans, I'd probably just not do engineering. Do something.
Well, I mean, you can find something like that, but it's always going to be some like niche shit. Because like nowadays too, like the whole thing is like, oh well, we need people back in the office. But it's like, well, we've kind of proven to you that you don't need us in the office because the past 2
I've
years, like we still were successful, that type of
Most
thing.
of the
That's what I'm
jobs
dealing
I've
with.
been applying to have been CAD design roles. Like literally, I can do that shit on my laptop wherever and just send it in.
Well, design's weird though because they usually ask for like a portfolio that you do like in your spare time.
Uh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, design jobs are like basically you have to like you're like, yeah, I have a mechanical engineering degree, but my true passion is being an artist. Like that's what a design role in engineering is. Because I mean, engineering can be everything from just like estimating costs for a project, like material cost or labor cost, which really isn't engineering at all. It's more of like a data analyst. Or it can actually be like data engineering, where you're like, okay, this is the outcome we need. These are the numbers we have. How do we excite this to make the numbers that we want?
I need a.
It's weird. Like you can be
I
an
need an
engineer
artist.
and work in finance.
Oh yeah, one of those jobs that I sent that had the shitty reviews. Uh, the first one was. It said it was a pyramid scheme, but that they were financial advisors or some shit. And when the guy sent it to me, he's like, "Oh, you look like you'd be a great fit." Yeah, my experience as a retail associate and food service and repair technician definitely go into fucking
Finance.
finance. Yeah, insurance, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, that's what cracks me up because even on my end, because I always put job postings out there, and for some reason we like our company uses like this AI platform that like can decide whether somebody's a quality candidate or not. And I always get these alerts that says somebody applied to your job and they are a great fit. And of course, the job I'm looking for is like a somebody who's like a senior level field engineer with like 12 years of experience in IT and like is looking for like 80,000 to $90,000 a year. And then like I'll get a resume and it says great fit for this position, and it's like literally somebody and their title is a sandwich artist at Subway. And it's
Shit.
like, but it like I'll look at their resume and it has nothing IT related on it at all, and it's like where is it pulling? Like where is it pulling those like data points that says
I
because
bet. I
it's all
imagine it's
Boolean
those
stuff, right?
those.
It's like AI scanning and then
Dude,
Boolean
Boolean
stuff.
means 1 or 0. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, it's like if yes, then, or if no, then, if both, then. Like it's basically just
Oh,
situationals,
thank
like
you,
within a one or a two-way switch, essentially. So yeah, it's binary because it'll switch, but there's
Connor.
different situationals.
Connor. Um. Yeah, I don't know
Well, it just cracks me up because it's
I
like how
I
much
think what it
money.
is. It's the fucking assessments on LinkedIn and Indeed. Those assessments
Oh,
are what.
Indeed are the best ones, dude. Like I'll get somebody that's like, yeah, I'm a part-time worker at Atwoods. But this Indeed assessment told me that I'm actually worth $300,000 a year. It told me I could be a surgeon.
This lady was asking me if I had time to do a meet and greet phone call this week, and I said yes, tomorrow after 3 or anytime on Friday. And then she comes back with, okay, well, will 9 o'clock work? No, actually, like I said, anytime on Friday. But then she hits me with 9 o'clock. Like, I've just been, dude, since I've been at Brookside all week, I've been just making phone calls to like all my doctors and shit, and applying to jobs and taking phone calls from them, and just doing shit. I haven't been busy at all. I mean, I did some repairs today, but yesterday I literally had one, and that's been pretty great. But
You should get
um,
into network engineering since you like electronics and stuff. Because it's literally just programming switches to interact with other switches. It's basically like you start with a basic schematic of what something needs to look like, and then you engineer it to actually work. but within like the IT space. That's actually probably something that's right up your alley, but you'd probably need to get a couple like little certifications or something. Spend a couple $100
I mean,
in a couple
honestly, a
months,
lot of that
take an
shit
online class.
is just kind of, it's like playing a game, really. You don't really, it's not difficult. You just have to commit to it. Like
Oh
think
yeah,
about
that's
shit.
the deal though. That's the deal is like that's what I always tell people in IT. It's like, listen, if you're just starting out, you're gonna have to accept the fact that you're gonna probably have a shitty job for like a year or two until you get that good experience on your resume, and then from there it's like, you know, the sky's the limit because IT and really any career is kind of like a staircase. Like sometimes you can be kind of tricky and skip, like you can jump and skip the first few stairs. A lot of people will trip up and embarrass themselves doing that. Sometimes you can make it happen though. But like once you do get to that third stair, you can't just keep jumping and skipping stairs. Like you have to at some point you have to go step by step. And that's kind of a problem I run into with a lot of people because they're like, "Yep, I just graduated. I've actually never had a job before. I helped my dad out one summer at his whatever company, but I've never had a job. No, I've never had a paycheck written in my name. But I'm looking for 80 grand a year in this senior level IT role, and it's like, who the hell told you that? Like, who told you to expect this type of stuff? Like, even like if somebody hasn't had a job, even if they haven't even just been like a DoorDash driver or something, like literally nobody will hire them because they've been told, well, oh, I don't need a job, I just need to go to school. But that's the deal. Like, you need a perfect mixture of both. Like, you need school to back it up to show you can commit to something and follow through. And then, like, you need an actual job that's kind of related. Just kind of. Like, even what you're doing right now as a job is kind of related to your degree in some regard. Like, if you were just
Yeah,
going back to working in retail, it just that wouldn't be the case. Um, but, like, yeah, dude, I run into people all the time. It's like, I'd rather hire somebody who their only job is working at freaking Sonic than somebody who's like, oh yeah, no, I'm actually looking for my first job. I'm like, oh, your first job out of college? No, like ever. And it's like, oh, okay, so in my mind, you're essentially a 16-year-old, and but
that's
you're
yeah. I mean,
23 and straight out. Like people can have
I've
like a master's from TU or something like a great school, and then they're like, oh well, I've
and
never
then
had
throw a
work
little fucking
experience.
fit whenever they're asked to sweep or something. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
exactly, exactly.
hey, hey, do you mind cleaning it up? Actually, that's not in my job description. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
only
I
here
hate
to
that shit.
make money. It's like I'm here to make money. It's like that's not how jobs work. You have to like do something to make money. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why I'm
Like,
sitting there fucking. It's not in my job description to clean up like the stores or anything. Like, it's not my locations, but shit, I like my workspace to look nice, you know?
oh dude, that's how it was when I worked at O'Reilly's. Is like, oh my God, like nobody even like cares at all about anything. It's like stuff that the customers can see too. It's like, if the customer is like that little back room that you showed, like if customers can peek back there, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah,
Um,
the front end
it's all
still
about
looks like that, but
image.
yeah,
Like, well, especially like a retail environment, it's all about image. It's all about oh God, what do they call it? Perceived value. So if you
yeah,
walk into even if it's a restaurant or if it's a retail store, and you just look around the store, you're like, oh wow, they have really cool looking lights in here, and like the paint on the walls, that's cool. Like you once you see that like people have put effort into the place, you're willing to spend more money because it's like if you go to like a Waffle House, you're not going to want to buy a $30 meal at Waffle House. But if you
it's
go
it's kind
to
of
Cheesecake Factory, you're okay with it because of like the ambiance.
it's kind of like Panera. Like that place sucks ass for
Exactly.
microwave
It's
for
hospital
macaroni,
food. It's
but
hospital food, but it's like $16 for a freaking like Southwest chicken wrap. I mean, it's
it is
insane.
literally $15 for a grilled cheese and tomato soup.
And that's probably like the most that is the most basic thing on the menu. And that's the most low cost thing for them.
That's what I would always get whenever I worked there, and I would pay like $4 for it because of my discount. But
Well, yeah,
then,
even with the discount, you're like, oh man, this is still expensive for the discount.
shit, I will continue to buy that though at places that have it because I finally tried Campbell's tomato soup, and it's the worst shit I've ever had. It does not
Oh,
taste good.
did you make it with water? You're supposed
Uh,
you're supposed to put milk instead of water. Like never put because yeah, it's gross. It tastes like something from like the elementary school cafeteria.
Honestly, it might have just been with nothing added. I don't know.
No, because in the can it's just like tomato paste, and then you either add equal parts water or milk.
Well, they
If you
sell
use
it
water,
as
it's
tomato
disgusting.
paste, but also as tomato soup. And I think the soup is just
Oh, the
supposed to
little
be
microwavable thing.
maybe.
Yeah,
Shit,
yeah,
the
yeah. That's not
absolute
good.
best tomato soup I've ever had was from a place that was on Shark Tank. It's called Tom and Chi. It's literally just a grilled cheese restaurant. But
Hell yeah.
the tomato soup was something basil, and it was instead of being red, it was more of an orange color. And that
Oh
shit
yeah,
is
like a
fucking
tomato basil
amazing.
bisque. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some
And
good
then
shit, dude.
I'd get like I forgot what they called it, but it was a grilled cheese with like tarragon mustard on it and like turkey and all these different fancy cheeses and shit.
Hell
Like
yeah.
some actual good stuff. I miss, dude.
That's a really
Oklahoma
good
City
business.
had yeah, it honestly is. Oklahoma City has some of the best restaurants and stuff because they're all obscure. Like even compared to Tulsa, we have a lot of variety here. They had even more variety.
Well, and see, Oklahoma City, like just to be completely honest, like as a geographical location,
It kind of sucks ass.
is like the worst place I've been in my life. Their roads
Hmm.
suck. It's way too spread out and big. But the only thing to do there is to go out and eat and drink. So like they do that really well. Like they have really good restaurants. They have really
Yeah,
good
I
bars.
absolutely love
But that's it.
Bricktown. Their Fassler Hall there. It's a
Oh, it's
two-story
huge.
bar, and then across the street from it is like a four-story bar. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
love
cool.
that place.
I
I
mean,
miss
it's
living
cool.
over there, honestly.
That whole place is designed for people who just work like 50 hours a week, and then when they're not working, they're just partying. Like that's literally
Shit.
what's because it's not the type of place where like you think about it, like Tulsa, like we can go to like we can go to like four different lakes within an hour drive.
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma City, all they have is Lake Hefner, which is technically a reservoir, and it's not even a real lake. And like if like there's no like they don't have a Turkey Mountain there. Like if you want to go hiking, good freaking luck. Like there's like it's just flat. It's really freaking hot. Like it's just I don't actually understand because you know when people are like excited to move to Oklahoma City, they're like, oh, I can't wait to move to freaking like some like Elk City or something or Yukon. It's like what the hell?
Yeah.
You're just moving to a place where your house is going to get hit by a tornado at some point. You're just gonna have to deal with that. And oh yeah, we want to go try out this new restaurant. It's only a 40-minute drive away from us. Like, it's
Honestly, I
insane.
might start putting in some applications over there though, because the places that I used to go whenever I was kind of down there a bit, like all the bars were cool. Uh, there was some breweries that I used to go to quite a bit. Um, like I don't know, I just went to a lot more cooler places there than, huh?
Well, it's also around here you're familiar with everything, so it's like anything different is obviously going to be
Yeah. Well,
a
so the
little bit
only
more
thing
exciting.
comparable is kind of over here. Oh, what's the area called? Like near Hillside over here in Broken Arrow.
Dude, that
But
place is blowing up.
like it's not there yet though. It's kind of because um, in Oklahoma City they had Quail Springs,
Oh
and this
yeah,
place over
yeah.
here reminds me of
Outlet
it.
Mall.
Yeah, but it's not like not quite there yet.
Well, the problem with Broken Arrow, and especially that area, is they're gonna have to figure the roads and the traffic out because it's terrible. Um, That area, it's cool because like it's like, oh yeah, there's like 30 different restaurants. They're all right here. Everybody can pick somewhere they want to eat and be happy. But it's just too busy. It's insane. Every time I have to drive through there, I'm like, oh my God.
I've been considering getting a place if I can never get a fucking job in downtown. Because
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cool spots, and they're all vacant too. There's a
there's
really
a
nice, there's a bunch of really cool lofts like attached to my building, and they're freak, dude. It's like something you would see in Chicago. It's like the lofts where like the whole inside is all brick, and it has like the industrial AC systems and stuff.
oh yeah.
Really cool. But they're
Um,
studios, so it's just like one huge, but it's not like a little tiny studio. It's like a big studio, and
there's
I
a
think they're
complex
about 1,200
called
a month.
okay. There's a complex called The View, and it's literally like across the street from Driller Stadium, and you can sit there from your balcony and watch the games. And
Oh yeah, yeah, that's really cool.
it's like 1,500 a month for like a 1 bedroom, and I think it's 12 or 13 for a loft. So I mean, that'd be really cool actually. I'd love going downtown and just there's cool shit to do down there.
Well, especially if you work downtown, you never have to spend money on gas like ever again.
Honestly, fuck, if I lived down there, I wouldn't have to sell the moped. I could just sell the car instead. Probably wouldn't do
Oh
that,
yeah,
but
because I actually see this is weird. So in one of the parking lots that I don't use it, but sometimes I'll park there if we have like a something going on after work or if I have to like meet somebody for lunch. And they added in like an entire row of EV chargers, but then right next to it they also added in a row of bicycle and scooter parking, which is
huh.
crazy because I've never seen like bicycle and scooter parking next to each other. Because like the EV stuff you see everywhere now, like Walmart parking lots will have that now.
Oh
But
really?
it's kind of cool to actually see more motorcycle parking because I feel like that was something that was kind of a thing to do maybe like 10 years ago and just kind of disappeared. Especially
Well,
bicycle stuff
now
because
that
like
the rental services are up, that's probably what those are for.
yeah, I'd assume so. Like this machine or whatever it is, it's like all up and
Yeah,
down Riverside.
I haven't actually used one
Um,
of those yet, but they're in downtown as well.
Yeah, I did, and it ended up charging me like $25 or something because like the freaking software wasn't like it wasn't working. It kept like renewing time, but the bike wasn't even working. Like
I
the
feel
bike
like
like wouldn't let me pedal it, but it kept charging me every time I tried to pedal it. And it's like, what the fuck are you charging me for?
the bikes seem like a little bit of a bigger risk than the scooters do. Although now that I think of it, I did used to ride the bikes in downtown OKC, except those were I think just manual bikes. I don't think they were powered.
Yeah, I wish we had a. That's one thing I do think is pretty cool about New York City is that they have city bikes everywhere. And it's because like with the Lime scooters, like they're only concentrated to like certain areas. Like you're not going to see a Lime scooter at the front of your neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
But with city bikes, and I guess it makes sense in New York, but New York's kind of an exception for everything, obviously. But there's so many of them that you can literally go anywhere and drop it off, and then somebody else that needs it is going to pick it up because it's like in a high use area.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously out here, there's just not enough money for municipal governments to like put sidewalks and bike lanes everywhere. That's just never going to happen. Um, but it would be cool. Like, remember at OSU, they had like the car shares. There was over by the bus station. There was a spot
shit.
where you could like borrow a Toyota
I
Corolla.
never,
Like you just borrow it.
I never actually saw one of those. I don't think.
Yeah, I forgot what they were called specifically. Like what the vendor or company was called,
I
but it
remember
was like a
them.
ride share.
Um,
Yeah, they only had 3 of them on the whole campus,
oh
but they're
really?
pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
was
but you want to
looking.
talk about an insurance nightmare? That's an insurance nightmare right there. Like some international student from like freaking Pakistan that's never driven a car before comes over here and rents a
That's who I
Toyota. Like,
expect to use those too.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's for like international students, like go to the grocery store, or you know,
kind of
or
like
really anybody
whenever.
that doesn't have a
Did you
car.
ever meet Edward, the guy
Oh yeah, he's
from
cool. What's he? I
Venezuela?
wonder what he's up to now. I bet he's doing really well. He seemed to learn English way too fast.
Well, they speak it in Venezuela, but
Oh
one
really?
time
I didn't know that.
he was he went to Walmart on his bike and like called us like, hey, can I come by your house or can I get a ride to campus or whatever? Because I bought way too much stuff and which I helped that fucker out a lot, and he seemed to like Colton more than me, and then just like stop talking to me altogether. It's like fuck you.
Nice.
But
Porker V1.
huh?
Porker.
Oh yeah, dude. The fucking difference between that creature and the girl he's with now are insane. It's really weird. Like she's
Yeah, she's actually. Well, I will say this. It's a very bizarre situation, but her as a human being, at least she's an actual human being and not some sort of weird Murloc type character.
well, she has like a drive for success, and
Oh
actually,
yeah, dude.
she's like yeah, like I don't want to prevent him from doing anything that he wants to do. He's free to do whatever type of shit. Like is
Well, you know it's.
actually understanding. It's weird.
I know that's what's kind of cool because like honestly, every single person I've met from like honestly, I would just say south of the Mexican border, like every single person I've met from like South America, Central America, they're just like all about the American dream, dude. They're like all about it. It's like, yeah, I want to eventually have a Corvette. I want to have a bunch of kids. I want to have a cool house, and like they're more committed to it than most Americans are, for
Yeah,
sure. They're a lot like they'll actually do it. Like there's a lot of people I know
yeah.
that'll say that their entire life and then never do anything. Um, I mean
I
we've
think it's
we've all seen that.
probably it's because there's a greater differential from what they grew up with than what is around here.
Well, right, because they grew up knowing like, oh, if you actually make something of yourself, somebody's gonna come take it. And here it's like nobody can take it because you're allowed to defend yourself. That's kind of the
Oh,
thing.
I don't know about that. They got tons of fucking guns and shit down there.
Oh yeah, but I mean
I
like,
mean, you've seen the Brazilian
well, when you
cops.
think about it, like the only cartel you got to worry about in America is like the police and the government. Like that's it. Like that's the only cartel you got to worry about here for the
Honestly,
most part.
organized crime is just kind of fucking stupid. Like I don't like the idea of biker gangs or cartels or whatever. Like
Oh,
what a
oh,
bunch
hey,
of fucking
here's
pussies.
another one. Dude, I'm gonna send you this guy's YouTube page because I swear to God, like if you're interested in did you ever like watch like Anthony Bourdain? Were you ever interested in anything like that? Where it's like the guy just like goes into a crazy culture and just like meets people and explains what their culture is, like that type of thing.
I used to watch a guy on YouTube called um it was some white dude that was kind of on the same level of Alex Jones. I don't remember who he was though. Um,
And
fuck, I
he
don't know who it
traveled.
was. No, he didn't. I don't know who Anthony Bourdain is.
Anthony Bourdain
Uh,
was the guy who he killed himself a few years back, but everybody was like, "Oh, that's weird," and it ended up being like his girlfriend was actually like an Israeli intelligence agent or something. It was like a weird, really weird case of events. But Anthony Bourdain had a show on Travel Channel for a long time, and he was great. Like he always went to like I think the best thing I ever saw, he did like a 10-part series on Cambodia, and it was fucking awesome.
Vietnam seems cool. I'd like to
Oh,
go
for sure,
there.
dude. Like, dude, Southeast Asia, that's if I can ever find like people to go, I would never go there alone, but everybody I've met, like if everybody in Southeast Asia is like the Hmong people that I know, I would be more than happy to go there. Because like they're the fucking coolest people, they're funny as hell, they're super friendly, super caring. Like, Vietnamese people, they're awesome. They have a great culture. Oh, but what I was going to tell you is that guy that does the YouTube videos, He did a couple different series. One of them was like the Bloods and the Crips in Los Angeles, and he hangs out with both sides and like just kind of gets their story, and like nobody wants to really be in that position. It's just like all that they know, and that seems to be kind of the common thing is like how people are brought up, I guess. But he also does one where he goes like to the projects in like the Bronx in New York City and Brooklyn and stuff like that, and it's just really funny because all these people are like, there's a dude, the one that he like connects with some guy like in East LA. And even in LA, he also, besides the Bloods and the Crips, he also does like the Chicano culture, like all the Mexicans with like lowriders and stuff. It's awesome. But even with, it was some guy that was a Crip. He was like, "So how do you have such a nice car? Like, you got to be honest with me. I know you guys sell drugs and guns and stuff like that." And the guy who's a Crip is like, "Nah, dude, look me in the eyes right now. I do not do drugs. I do not drink. I do not smoke. I do not do anything illegal. You want to see how I paid for this car? Let me pop the trunk." And then he pops the trunk and he has like boxes and boxes of sweatshirts that he sells. So like this dude's just hustling sweatshirts, but he's a Crip, but he's like sober. It's like the weirdest shit ever,
How
dude.
does he have
But
sweatshirts?
it's pretty. Well, he's like, "Oh, I'm a designer." He's just like selling all of his boys like all these sweatshirts he designs. He's like, "Right now I'm charging like $80 each, but I hope one day I can charge like 800." And I'm like, "Oh my God," that like opened my eyes. I'm like, "That's literally how the fashion industry works."
I had a customer, not really a customer actually. He worked in Reese's, and he said he did it 1 day a week because he needed it for tax purposes or some shit. And he was one of those fucking sneakerheads.
Oh, I hate those people.
Like, he made money by buying and selling sneakers, and he needed the job so
So
that his
weird.
taxes weren't off. So he worked 1 day a week.
I've heard of that. I've had people ask me, they're like, "Hey, I want this job, but can you pay me less than minimum wage? Because if I make more than a certain amount of money every month, then I'll lose my disability." And I'm like, just listen to yourself right now.
I
You're
mean,
asking
yeah.
me to pay you less than the minimum wage. I'm like, are you recording this right now? Am I getting punked? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, at that point, why wouldn't you just ask to get paid higher than minimum wage so you get more than your disability?
Exactly. Dude, no, like no shit. Like this guy, it was a job that paid, I think I was trying to pay like 14.50 an hour, which is not great for like what the job was. It was like you need to have like not a degree, but you need to have IT certifications or at least some sort of tech schooling and at least 1 year of IT experience. This guy had like five. Um, but I don't know what the situation was, but he was just on either workers' comp, disability, something like that. And yeah, I was like, okay, so yeah, it's about 14.50 an hour. And then he's like, okay, I'm really interested, but can you pay me like $8 an hour? And I was like, well, it's a contract, so it's illegal to pay you anything less than $10.60 an hour if you're a contractor. And he's like, ooh, okay, can I just work like 2 hours a week then? And I was like, what the, who do you like, what's going on here? I have an employer trying to hire somebody to do a job and you're asking to work 2 hours a week. It's like, no, we're not just giving away a job to somebody who wants some money. We're like needing somebody to do a job. Like, it's just a weird, dude, people are nuts. People are nuts, dude. It makes no sense. But I mean, that kind of goes to my point of saying, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, people would be like, oh, I just want to do the same as I'm doing right now. I don't want to do better. I'll just do the same. And that's like every like average American. But then you like meet one random person from like South America and they're like, oh yeah, I have 30 grand in my checking account because I do construction 12 hours a day. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it's nuts, man. Like some
The
people just
people
got
that
some
work
drive. Like I
construction
don't have
always
that
come
type of
in all
drive.
smug, though. They kind of annoy me. But,
Yeah, the white dude. No, dude, like Mexican
yeah.
people that do construction, they have nice trucks, they have nice houses, and somehow they're feeding like 8 kids, and they're just like grinding like all the
Dude, that
time,
shit's
and
a
they
fucking
like,
nightmare. Honestly,
it's nuts,
putting in
dude. I go to
all
Las
that
Americas
work.
once a week now, dude. They love, dude. I honestly, I feel like if you grow up knowing that that's like your, oh, what would you call that? Like your,
Your calling,
well, like
your
the
destiny, or
one
some
thing
shit.
that like, like whatever, like the one thing that you get satisfaction from that you like feed off of. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's like kind of your like
Your
your like
drive.
fountain of youth, like yeah, like your passion.
Yeah.
If you're raised into that where it's like hard work pays off, and like honestly for them it really does. Like
Oh
they'll be
no,
able
no,
to
no.
put like three or four kids through college.
I'm talking about doing that shit, working so hard to make money or whatever, and it all goes to raising an excessive amount of kids. I think that sounds terrible.
Well, I mean, like the only reason they get those jobs is so they can raise a bunch of kids because that's like their culture.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
what's cool though is that like they couldn't do that in their own country. You know what I mean? Like here, if you work hard, you'll actually make more money. Like there, you'll work hard and you'll make the same money. Just because like the more money you make, the more like protections you got to buy from cartels, local governments, which are ran by cartels, all that shit. Um,
Hey, isn't this
I mean,
a
it's really
kind of
like
a
Las
badass
Vegas,
room?
like back in the 50s.
Oh, I've
Oh,
seen
damn!
that.
Did you paint that in there?
No, it's always been like this. But honestly,
I thought it used to be all brown.
nah. The only thing we've ever done in here is put these floors in, but I don't think you even ever saw it before.
Oh no, I haven't been there. Well, shit, it's probably been like 6 or 7 years since I've been in that room.
I think it'd be pretty cool to do something with this because it's not
No, that's
insulated
perfect,
right
man.
now.
Turn it
But
into a like an outdoor bar to where like you can open up all the windows and make it inside or outside.
that'd be cool. We had one of those big ass dumpsters at one point, but we didn't do it. But we should have just torn apart this hot tub, and, like gotten rid of it.
Oh, damn! I didn't know you still had that.
Yeah, I mean this is the current state of it. But
Yeah, those are impossible to like get rid of once you have one. It's like nobody's gonna
well,
come pick that up. Nobody wants that.
it has to be taken out in pieces. I mean, I like the '90s paint job in it, but that's about it. You know that color?
Damn. I feel like they had to build that room around it.
I think they did.
So you might have to
But
like rip down a wall to get rid of that.
well, the
Like just
plan
the
was to cut it into
fiberglass piece
pieces.
alone. Oh yeah, you could do that. Get a Sawzall.
Yeah, but don't have that dumpster anymore. But I mean, this is honestly a cool chill room. It's just not cool. I mean, there is a unit in here, but things literally from the fucking '90s, and
Yeah. Well, that's what I want. I want like an in-out room. I don't know what you would call that, like a flex room or something, like or a like an oh, that's what they call it. They call it like a Four Seasons room, so you can use it like all around the year. Um,
honestly,
but
this
something where I can just sit in
room,
there and like smoke cigars and like like smoke cigars in there, freaking play music really loud, just chill.
that's kind of how this is. I mean, shit. During the winter, if we have the hot tub going, this would actually be a chill spot to be in.
Hell yeah.
I do miss having this thing running because that was actually. I mean, I don't have any reason to believe it's not working, but it's just never really been maintained or used. I kind of forget that I have a fucking hot tub at my house a lot.
Yeah, hot tubs are weird. Like I don't really understand. People that use them every night are weird. People that use them every week or less, I would say, I mean, that's average, but like you have to spend, like, you have to clean it basically every other day. And if you have to clean it every other day or like check on it every other day just to use it once a week, I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we did
Because
used
like
to
I wouldn't
keep
want to get in
water
a
in
hot
a.
tub every day.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's kind of like a
I don't
hookah. It's
like
like
being
one of those
hot.
things that
Like
you
I
you
don't enjoy. When people are like, "Ooh, I got a sauna at my house," I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? You like that? It's like you like being hot. What's wrong with you? Like
you
you
know
enjoy sweating without doing anything? That's weird. That's not natural.
if
You're
I owned
cooking
this
yourself."
place and I was having people over all the time, then I might actually have this thing running. But living here with my mom and everything,
I would
bit
scrap that
different.
shit for parts and then buy an above ground pool.
Yeah, but with a hot tub, you can like get real wild with it. I mean, it's a fucking hot tub.
Okay, well you can have. Okay, You can have 2 girls in a hot tub or 20 in a above ground pool. You're gonna need to get a
Yeah.
privacy fence though.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
That'll
I
keep the
don't like
hawks
above
out.
ground pools though, because they seem to just get damaged easily.
No, they really don't. Honestly, like that's why people always have one with like some disgusting rotting brown water in their backyard. It's like it's just been sitting there for 20 years, and they're like, "Fuck it, we forgot to buy chlorine one time, and it's just gross."
Yeah, with
Um,
anything like that higher end, I'd probably want to have someone to maintain it. Like pay someone. I don't want to do that shit myself.
well,
I don't
those no,
have
like an
the.
above ground pool though, like the cost is like $1,200
What do you mean
plus the
1,200?
water. Like an above ground pool, like the steel sided ones with like the
To have it
liner and
put
all that
in?
stuff, like just to like buy one of those and the only work you'd have to have done is like have somebody make sure your backyard's level or like make like a sand pad for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're pretty cheap. That's why like people in trailer parks always have them. But they're awesome, honestly. And if you get sick of it, all you need to do is just run like a fucking lawnmower into it, and then it just disappears.
Oh yeah, like fucking Neil Steele did.
I love those videos, like where you see somebody like accidentally backing a car into their above ground pool and like it just
Do
floods
you know what I'm talking
everything.
about? Neil Steele.
Yeah, in the backyard. Yeah, he had or behind us, he had the above ground pool, and they never swam in it really. They just like he was always out there cleaning it.
Well, they fucking drained it and it came to the yard. Remember?
Oh yeah, always, always. It's like, well, that's where the power lines are. Technically, nobody owns that. It's like, well, we kind of own the area where everything's washing into, though, or
Fuck. What
we're
do we
living
call
here
him?
at least.
We called him something else. Not because Neil's his real name.
Wally, Wally.
Wally. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what's hilarious? There's a guy I work with. His name's Oswald, and for some
Oh
reason, I always want to call
fuck.
him Wally, but it's because he looks like that actor from that show, from
Yeah,
that
it's always
episode.
sunny.
He kind of looks like the actor. So like, I always want to call him Wally. But that's the other thing too, is because he's like a weatherman, and he always talks about the weather. So
Have you
like,
ever
because
been in a
that guy
storm,
Wally,
Wally?
yeah, exactly. Like it's just one of those weird like fever dreams where everything connects.
That was like a psychotic break. There's a. I'm looking at a fucking extension cord, and I've been kind of just stepping on it with my feet. And I look down, and there's a bunch of ants just losing their shit over it. Like I didn't know we
Oh,
had
it's
ants.
probably they like the electromagnetic frequencies.
I
You
don't
should
know.
put the
Maybe that is
extension
true.
cord up in a you should roll it up in a coil and see if they start walking in a circle.
If you roll it up in the coil, it builds up induction,
Hmm.
and then it'll.
Exactly. Or they would start acting erratically. Because that way you could differentiate if they're following the path of the cable or the actual frequencies coming off of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I torture insects. So what? It's research.
Well, they have a fucking ant problem at that Brookside store, and there's a heating pad that we have for certain devices, and sometimes an ant will be walking across it, and I'll just like activate it while it's like starting to go
And it
across. So
just
by the time
slows
it gets to
down
the
and
fucking
stops.
yeah,
It just slows down and stops. And just like all of its legs start curling up.
yeah, there was one that it was already on, and it had a piece of food in its mouth. So I was kind of watching it, like I wanted to see what it was gonna do, and it kept trying to
So I
go,
got
like it.
our house has always had very bad ants, like since we first moved in. But this year I tried something completely different. It's a I don't know if you've heard of this term, but it's a mechanical pesticide. So essentially, it's just not a chemical pesticide. But what it is, it's oh god damn it, I forgot the name of it. It's like something something powder. But basically,
Seven dust.
it's a bunch of crushed up seashells, and it also has some sort of vinegar in it or something like that. Some sort of what do you call it? Some sort of like acidic coating, like salt or something like that on it. Um, But what it is, like like keep all the little chunks separate, but it's like powdered seashells. And whenever you put it around the perimeter of your house, like if insects come across it, since insects, I guess, they have like a hard shell, but if they walk through like sand or something that absorbs moisture, they get dehydrated really easily. And that's what this stuff does. It absorbs moisture like freaking crazy. So if insects get near it, it sucks all the moisture out of their body and they get dehydrated and die. Because it's like, and it also, because it's also abrasive since it's powdered seashells, it like cuts them and it makes them bleed and then it sucks out all the moisture from their body and dehydrates them. So it's cool.
Huh.
So it only will affect insects and it won't affect anything else. Because sometimes whenever you put like ant bait or whatever around your house, it'll like kill the earthworm population, or it'll mess up like butterflies and stuff that like just because it's in
Would
the
that
air
not
because it's
still
a
kill the
chemical.
earthworms?
No, because it's like concentrated to the ground. It's like it mixes in with the soil. So like when ants walk across the ground, they'll like basically cut themselves, and then that stuff that cuts them, it absorbs a ton of moisture. So just from them getting a small cut, they lose like all the moisture out of their body and they get dehydrated and die. Instead of like a chemical which can stay there forever. And it's pretty cool. Like whenever you see like ants going in a trail, you just put it right in the middle, and they won't stop. But the next day you'll go back and there's zero ants. And if you see them, they're all dead. It's crazy. Because I've tried like chemical stuff like Seven Dust before, and it does work, but it doesn't work as like immediately as this shit did. It was crazy. It was like 24 hours and there was just like no more ants.
I still feel like a mechanical thing would last longer than a chemical thing, right?
Well, eventually, like if you get a bunch of rain, then it all just kind of it. You have to reapply it. That's the only bad thing. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know how it would work with like I keep getting flies in my house because like I keep the windows open whenever it's nice out and like our
Dude,
screens in the windows suck. But
those stink traps are the most effective thing ever.
or like the tape. Oh yeah, but I don't want those inside. I like the tape, but that also looks
No, you
bad.
don't. You don't put a stink trap inside. You put it outside.
Well, my dad uses. I think I've told you this before. My dad uses those. It's like a little net, and they go on the ground, but it has a cone underneath it. And like you either get a can of tuna and set it underneath the trap, or you can get a what he used was ammonia powder. You get ammonia powder and you mix it with chicken broth and you put it in like a little dish or something like underneath the trap, and like whenever it's exposed to heat, it just smells like rotting meat, basically.
Hmm.
And then that attracts flies. They fly up into that cone, and then the cone opens up into like a big net, so they all get trapped in the net. And then
Well, you
once that thing
remember
just fills
the
up
thing
with
we
a
had in
ton
the
of
backyard?
flies. Oh no. Well, it's different. It's like it sits on the ground. It's just like you can get a bunch of them for super cheap on Amazon. But yeah, like once that net starts to fill up with flies, like on the ground, and they're all still alive, you just take it and just throw it in a bucket of water for a while, and then boom, you just got like 4 million dead flies. But it doesn't work with mosquitoes though. So I'd rather I'd rather have freaking houseflies than mosquitoes. I fucking hate mosquitoes. I cannot stand them.
Yeah, you don't really get mosquitoes in your house though, so they're not as big of an issue.
No, but yeah, like outside, like well, I mean, like houseflies outside, like those are just as prevalent as mosquitoes are, honestly, or at least around me. Because I'll be outside and there's like there's flies fucking landing on me constantly. I hate that shit. Whenever you're like
Dude, I
outside
fucking
sweating
hate
and doing
flies.
shit, yeah, I don't really see a flies don't make any sense because they don't like really spread disease or anything. Like I mean, I know that their larvae will like decompose stuff. Like maggots will decompose garbage, but like not that much. Like not as much as like an earthworm. So I don't really understand.
Yeah, flies are kind of they are a straight up pest. I don't know if they have a use or not.
Yeah, like like mosquitoes have more of a use than like a common housefly does, I feel like.
Well, actually, mosquitoes have no fucking use.
Yeah, they spread diseases in like just areas because also like mosquitoes don't migrate. They always have like kind of distinct territories. So if like an animal population that mosquitoes target grows too large within a certain like geographical area, then mosquitoes will target that animal in that area, and then they won't like they won't spread like worldwide. That's why like the Zika virus was kind of exclusive to Central South America, like in Brazil and like the jungle area of Brazil. Um,
So they had
like
those
wasn't.
like biologists that said that they don't have any use, but
Well, I mean, there is AUs, but it's like not. They're still a pest. Like we could probably do without them. Like at this point, we don't need to thin the herds of really that much. you know, like
yeah,
all the stuff that's
I feel like
important is
people that
endangered,
said that
and we have.
they don't have a use just really didn't like them. They're more like, yeah, let's just get rid of these fuckers. They don't
I
really
mean,
care about
technically,
the
everything has a
consequences.
use. Like the sole purpose of everything is to use resources, whether they're like renewable or not. But I guess like yeah, like flies, fuck them. Like honestly, like I could do with having half the squirrels that we have. We don't need this many squirrels. How about we cut it in half?
I mean, squirrels are nice. They're fancy tree rats.
Man, I've just
Okay,
had like a real problem with squirrels around here. There's like too many. There's
how the
like I'll
fuck
go
did
in my
that bird
backyard. There's like
die?
14. What
How
bird?
did the blue jay?
Oh, I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Like whenever you take a wild baby animal, there's like a 94% chance it's just gonna die randomly. Like no matter
Yeah,
what you do with it.
I was kind of expecting that, but I mean, shit, did
I
he
mean, one
fucking?
time when I was a little kid, that's what's so like miraculous about Keith and Shitty, right? It's because whenever I had, I was like 8, and we had, some cat just laid like a whole litter of kittens in our front flower bed at
A
my
bunch of
parents'
eggs.
house, and we started with 6, took care of all of them, and they all died. And like,
The fuck.
meanwhile, you get 2 of them that were maybe just a week older than like the ones that we had. And here, almost 5 years later, almost 6 years later, I mean, they're doing great. I've
Yeah,
never
but
had
they
to
got to
take
be
her
some
to the
kind of
vet.
fucking.
Have you ever had to take him to the vet for anything, like acting weird or anything like that? Or just for like, didn't they just get neutered and they got their shots originally and that was it, right?
Yeah, I mean, he breathes kind of weird, but I haven't taken him to
Oh,
the
so
vet
does
for it.
she. Dude, the other yesterday I walked in here. I don't know if she was doing a hairball or what, but she was just laying on the bed and she started going, just like doing that. And I pet her and I was like, "Are you all right?" And she just like started meowing and then she just went back to sleep. And then like an hour later she started doing it again. Uh, but I was like, "What the
Keith,
fuck?" Like I'll just be sitting here working and then she sits behind me and just will start making some weird ass noise.
Keith has fucking nightmares sometimes, and I used like whenever I was getting like stoned or whatever, I'd be sitting there just chilling, and then suddenly he'd be like fucking just start going fucking crazy out of nowhere, and it's because he was having a
Oh,
nightmare.
that's weird. Huh. Yeah, she doesn't whenever she's asleep, she's like dead basically. Like I'll walk in here and I'll like slap the bed next to her when she's asleep and then she reacts like 7 seconds later. It's crazy. What's wrong? Huh?
She's honking.
Hippie honker. I got
Dude,
your
Keith
tail.
fucking screams like a motherfucker.
Dude, she only does this when I'm on the phone with somebody. Otherwise, she completely ignores me. What?
Oh, Keith likes to scream constantly, no matter what time it is.
I've been doing this thing lately where if I fill up her bowl with food, I won't give it to her unless she like I'll hold my hand like 3 feet off the ground, and I won't feed her unless she jumps up to try to get my hand.
Oh yeah, I like getting her to
I'm trying
stand
to
up.
teach her how to jump. I
I
like
just
getting her to jump. I like when she jumps.
just opened the sunroom door and made the clicking noise. There you are. He just came out from our room.
Oh, I did that to get the attention of a pony at the zoo today. Like it wasn't coming close enough to me, and I wanted to see it, and I just did a few of those little cat clicks, and it just walked straight up to me.
I guess it's like
So
universal language for animals for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
because it's like some sort of noise they can hear.
could be.
Classic hips.
I started making that noise off of one of those. It was a clicker from PetSmart for dog training. When you click it, it goes, and I was able to like make the noise well. And I've always used that with animals, and they always come over.
Oh hell yeah!
Guess it's the right pitch for them. Isn't that right, Keith? Speak. Can you see his
Is
tail?
that his tail?
Yeah.
It's just this thing that goes. That's hilarious. You know what's really funny? Whenever so she'll be standing like in a doorway or something, and I'm like, "Are you hungry?" And then her tail, whenever I ask her a question, her tail like does like a question mark thing.
And flicks.
So like she knows like when I'm asking her a question, like she'll like turn her tail into a question mark. It's just so weird. Or like it'll like gets curled up because like normally it's just straight up and she's like freaking out. But if I ask her something like, "What's wrong with you?" She'll just like make it into a question mark. So,
If I pat my chest, he'll usually hop up.
oh, she doesn't get on my lap. She doesn't. She also doesn't scratch me anymore. I haven't been scratched by her in ages.
Wait, she used to scratch?
Oh yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I still got scars from 3 years ago from her. Like, like you'd try to pet her and she'd swat at you and like slice your arm.
I've never
Like
had
she's
either of
finally
the
come.
cats swat at me.
Oh yeah, she used to scratch the shit out of me. Or like every time I pick her up, she'd like grab my chest and just like scratch it.
Yeah, I do remember that. Keith has never
She likes
swatted.
me now though.
It's
Oh yeah,
weird.
dude, she still does it, but she doesn't scratch me. Like she'll whenever I pick up her food bowl and go take it in the kitchen because like I'll fill it up with like the wet food in the kitchen and bring it in here and put some like scoops of dry food on it. And whenever I pick up her food bowl and walk out, she starts like swatting at my feet. Like as I walk out, she's like, Where are you going with my food?" But it's just like a little tap. Like she doesn't use her claws at all. She's just like it's like this soft little like tap on your foot. It's hilarious. Are you meowing? What's wrong? You're fat.
Look. Oh, look, there he is. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Say hi to your brother.
Oh, she made the noise. Wait. Keith, look.
Say hi to your brother. No, she does not want to talk to him. What did you do, Keith? What did you tell her last time? You say you're the reason why mom left?
It's funny because I'll say shit like Keith, look, and he immediately just turned his head and looked like what the
Oh,
fuck
dude,
are
I
you
saw
doing?
her.
Understanding what I said?
She was watching me play Xbox like the other day. She was like staring at the TV.
Yeah, he'll do that sometimes too. It's fucking weird. Like they somewhat
Well, it's because
understand what
like
the
Bruce won't even. Bruce does that sometimes, but not. I think he's like listening to the TV versus actually watching it. But yeah, it was weird because I didn't realize. Like, I've never heard of a cat like acknowledging something on the screen.
I think he
They seem to
knows.
like keyboards.
Yeah, if you're interacting with it, they like to get in the way of it because they want to be part of what you're doing. But
Yeah, they're like, hold
oh
on,
shit,
this computer moves. Are you giving this computer food? Why aren't you giving me?
I think he knows what a fucking phone slash camera is because every time I try to get him to acknowledge the screen or if I'm trying to record him doing something, he immediately stops as soon as he sees the phone. Hey, look
That's
what I
what she
got.
does too. I'll try to take a picture and then she'll just run off because she gets embarrassed, even though I was watching her the whole time. Yeah, I'm talking shit on you, don't you?
You had you had this at your house once. I bought some.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
I've never seen it anywhere else, but it's pretty good.
it's I got that at Reese's.
Yeah, yep, that's where I got mine. It's like $1.80 when I bought it or something.
I mean it tastes like fuzzies.
Yeah, I like hot
Uh,
sauce where it's more watery or more
that
vinegar
one's
like that.
that one's more sweet than hot. Oh, also, Here's the nastiest fucking beer I've ever had.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I got some of this stuff, and it's okay. It's like a lemon beer. Camp
Caddy Shack?
Sandy Shores.
Oh.
Sandy Shores. It's from Iowa, but it's not technically beer. It's malt beverage with natural flavor, but it's pretty good. It's
Oh,
like
that's like
Mike's Hard Lemonade, but it tastes like beer.
that's what I thought it was at first.
Well,
That's
it's like a shandy.
Yeah, kind of looks like it. Um, kind of reminded me of like, oh shit, the cat's still in here. All right, I was asking for a folding chair so I could take it with me to the Drillers game, right? And Patrick's like, yeah, there's one in the sunroom.
Oh my god. Oh my
Like,
god. It's a 1970s dinner chair.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, you should have totally brought that.
Keith, you can't go outside. He's still reaching. Oh, have you seen him open that fucking door in my room?
Dang, she's doing the same thing. She's over here meowing. What's wrong, Hips?
I have a scratching post attached to my door handle, and he knows he can reach up and grab with his claws and then pull the door open.
Yeah, I got her a little post, and it's only about 2.5 feet tall, but she gets on it and climbs all the way to the top of it and then starts scratching. Like she climbs it like a telephone pole. It's hilarious.
I think it's
I need to
funny
get a
that they
video of
have
it.
completely different voices. Like hers
Oh
is
yeah,
more
she's
of
got like
a.
a weird.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
more
it's
of a.
weird since she's gotten older. She has a different meow, and she
What do you mean?
also sometimes in the mornings, like she can't even meow at all. Like for like half the day, she'll just be like.
Sometimes Keith will go. He'll go back. You're not coming outside. Yeah, he'll
Keith is
do
just
like
mad
a.
because he can't spray on everything anymore.
Oh, he will
Just upset.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. He's just pissing.
Now if I don't change the litter box, like for I don't know, probably after a week, um, he'll make a bunch of noise and then wait until a person's looking at him, and then he'll fucking spray.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because I change her litter box usually every like 5 or 6 days. It's usually like every Friday or Wednesday, just depending. But if she lets me know when I need to do it, like she'll come find me and then start yelling at me and then lead me to her closet where her litter box is and then look at me and just sit there and meow like freaking crazy.
I guess that's
And
maybe
then
what
like
he does, because I'll go
yeah,
there
because
and be
like
like,
I'll
you
change
have
it
food and
out.
you have water.
And then whenever she sees me like grab her litter box and take it outside and like change it and stuff, she just her mood changes. Like she starts getting all happy and like will start like darting around the house and stuff. You know, she's like excited. She's like, "Oh, I get to poop!" You know, like, it's crazy.
He'll start
Oh yeah,
screaming at the top of his
it's going
lungs
wild.
and then go after the fucking German Shepherd, like charge at her and then stop. And the dog always fucking runs away. It's great.
Yeah, she's a good. Like honestly, I feel like like if you were to buy a cat, you would just have like the worst cat on earth. But like if you get one for free, they're always like pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, I used to hold this one like a baby, like wrap it in a fucking burrito and shit. And I think he remembers that. Like he does
It
not.
just remembers me like I don't know. I just feed her and she likes me. I think that's all it takes. You just have to give them food and talk to them.
I don't know. I let him run free whenever I'm not at home, but he's not near as friendly with anyone else but me.
Yeah, same here. She doesn't like anybody but me. Every time like I get home, she'll like come up and hang out with me, and then like everybody else, she just goes under her bed.
Keith follows me like throughout the entire house. I bet she doesn't do it because of Bruce.
No, she does. Like as soon as if she hears Lauren or me let the dog outside, she immediately goes in the living room and starts seeing what's up. Like if she knows he's outside, she'll do whatever. But
Lately,
she follows
this
me around
cat's been
everywhere.
trying to get into the fucking shower. So,
Oh yeah, I accidentally, dude. On Monday, I accidentally I locked her in the bathroom for about 3 hours. Um, I just went in there and went pee, but I didn't close the door all the way. Like when I walked in, and I guess she snuck in behind me. And then, yeah, I went out, closed the door, and then like 3 hours later, I just heard like this jingling, and then I heard like something knocking, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Because it sounded like somebody like pushing a door back and forth, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then I just heard this weird little yowl. I just heard this like yowl. I was like, "Oh shit, where is she?" And so like I opened all the doors, and then I opened the bathroom, and she just darted out of there. Hilarious. Like, remember whenever she got stuck in the kitchen cabinet at our old house? I think somebody put her in there. I don't know who, but like somebody put her in there, and like she just we didn't hear a single peep until like the next day.
that
And it's like,
reminds me of
where's
one of
that
our
coming
fucking.
from?
Do you remember Michael Foley?
Oh yeah, dude, he always had freaking cargo jeans.
Fucking Colton assaulted him.
Salted him, yeah. He's
Yeah,
like,
because
big ol'.
he was like too high to go to the bar. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I just hang back?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, sure, whatever. Just stay here and chill. You're good." And so we fucking left. And then I later hear that Colton assaulted him, so he'd leave. Like,
Oh my god. I don't remember that exactly, but I do remember him. He had a phase for a while where he was really into that salting episode of It's Always Funny.
Colton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might have been one of the times you went to the bar with whoever fuck I went to. I don't know. If Colton wasn't there. I don't know who would have been.
I can count on like one hand how many times I went to the bars when I lived in Stillwater. Like I really did not do shit.
Yeah, I mean that was a cool
But just
town.
because I was always
Honestly,
broke.
Oklahoma City would have been a better fucking bar scene. Like whenever I was working at CarMax and going out, that shit was fun.
Honestly, if I like would have gone to college and like in a serious manner, I probably would have gone out of state because I feel like that would be a better experience. Like just go somewhere completely fucking different, like somewhere in the desert, somewhere in the mountains, somewhere like I don't fucking know, like in the fucking like some random place in like Western Pennsylvania or something. I don't fucking know. I think that would have been kind of cool,
Shit,
but
I considered
also
since
very, very expensive.
yeah, I considered since I've not gotten a job yet, just go back and get a fucking master's, so that way I can get even more not a job, you know?
Dude, that's the craziest thing. People would be like, "Well, I actually need $40 an hour because I have a master's degree," and I'm like, "Oh, are you telling? Okay, well, I just told you that you're not a fit for this job that pays $18 an hour. Like you're not, you don't even qualified for that. Why would having a master's? You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah,
well, I guess that's kind of how it applies in that way. But it's like at that point, like if you have a master's degree and can't find a job with it, you might as well just go back to school and just start working for the university as like an adjunct professor or something, you
just go
know?
back and get a
Because it's
doctorate
like,
and then try again.
yeah, exactly. Like, because you're already like so much time like time is honestly more valuable. Like, I'd rather be in a ton of debt and only spend 2 years doing something than be in no debt and spend 10 years doing something. You know what I mean? Like that I don't enjoy. And that's just nuts to. Good Lord. I mean, if you have scholarships, I guess that's fine. But imagine like financing $300,000 or $400,000 for the possibility of maybe having a job in something you might be interested in.
Okay, but
Like that's just fucking crazy.
imagine having people call you doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's all you're getting out of that. It's like that's nobody's gonna respect you besides like people in their 70s. Everybody else is gonna resent you because you're like telling them what to call you. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like,
Yeah,
don't tell me what to call you. Let's call you like we're like in a first name society now. Like people are still living like that. And that's true though. People
Uh,
literally will go to that just to be called doctor. Like people literally
okay,
will
wait,
do
wait.
that.
But if your name was like Steve, like Steven, they'd be like, oh, is that Steven with a PH? And you could be like, no, that's Steven with a PhD.
Damn, that's terrible. That's terrible. It's like yeah, it's like oh, it's like, are you a big Jude Law fan? No, not Jude, just Law because I'm an Esquire. You know, like I'm a
Esquire.
lawyer.
Oh, fuck, I want to get
Oh, that's
knighted because apparently that's a big deal. I don't like, oh, Terry Pratchett. I believe you mean Sir Terry Pratchett. I don't even know who the fuck that is, but
I like Earl because all that means is that you just own a piece of land.
oh, fuck.
And then
Wait,
Duke
so,
means you own like several pieces of land, or like you lease out pieces of land to other people. So like Duke basically means you're a landlord.
so
Earl just
you're
means you
telling
own your
me,
house.
you're telling me I could get a piece of land and have the title Earl.
Yeah, like with an E at the end of it, or Earl, or
Did
whatever
you
it
see
is.
that?
Yeah.
That quick
No.
flash of the tail?
Oh, that was his tail.
Yeah.
I thought that was like okay. Hell yeah, that's badass. I thought that was. I just barely saw it for a split second. I just for some reason I thought something popped up on the screen.
Yeah. I don't know why we have these, but I'm gonna play with it now. Where'd your camera go?
Oh, I was looking at my text messages. Hold on a second. What the? Okay, good. Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
found
did
this.
you get that at the? Oh damn, dude! I saw this hilarious thing the other day. It's like we need to bring back the little newspaper boy in every town that's wearing the little white hat with the red necktie. That's always like breaking news, and he's always sucking a huge lollipop. You know, he's always got a pinwheel and a lollipop, and he's selling newspapers.
Dude, I was always so
Yeah.
jealous of those fucking hats that have the propellers on.
Yeah, now you know. Now you realize that that just meant they were mentally disabled. When somebody has a propeller hat, like that means that they're an airhead.
Oh, fuck.
Who you calling pinhead?
Keith, come. There's some kind of craze on Facebook about some app that turns pictures into like a oil painting. And my brother sent one that was like, this is what my entire Facebook feed looks like. And it was like the thing from the Goonies. Like the deformed looking, the deformed
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Um, and then I was scrolling through Facebook, and this girl said, "Oh my God, I'm in love with this app." And she posted her fucking deformed babies.
Oh no.
It was exactly what my fucking brother was saying.
Oh no. Yeah, dude, I never look at the posts on Facebook. The only reason I ever get on Facebook and I just go straight to Marketplace, but every now and then I'll accidentally catch myself scrolling, and every single time I'm like, oh, it's just like it's just I'm like, oh, so this is what this part of society is up to. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
always just like, oh boy.
dude.
It's
Speaking of, I
literally
have a
just
fucking thing on Facebook right
crazy.
now, and people aren't buying it. I'm about
What is it?
to lower the price
A
on it though.
scooter?
No, the Xbox. Although I'm gonna post a scooter soon too.
Wait, what Xbox?
The One X, the one that I bought whenever I sold you my other one.
Well, shit, the one I got right now is doing great.
Yeah, but is
I
it
finally
4K
I
capable?
took it apart and dusted it all out. I got the little plastic wedge tool thing to get all those clips off around the cover, and that
You're
was the
talking
only
about
bad.
the
Everything else was just those little security screws, and it was pretty easy. But like
you're talking about the
used
blue pry tool.
no, it wasn't blue. It was just a little black plastic little. It looks like a crow's foot wrench. It's like
Like
or a pry bar. It's like one side
that
has
kind
like a
of.
45-degree little thing. One side has like a little 45-degree fork on it, and the other side's like a little pry tool. That's more of like it comes to a point and it's kind of soft on the end,
A what
like a
on the
little
end?
wedge. Well, it's kind of like oh, let me see if I can find it.
I was
Oh,
gonna
it's
take
like
apart Carlos's Xbox and clean it for him, but honestly, the Xboxes are
I don't know
like.
where it is.
Did I mention? Did I tell you I was buying like a PlayStation to fix it?
Oh no.
I ended
But
up
usually
getting
that's the only
one.
thing that goes bad. Like stuff like that is caked full of dust and it just overheats, so it doesn't work. So like as long as you get the dust out, it works fine.
So on the Xboxes, they're more prone to like actual high-end component failure, like a GPU or like one of the graphics cards type of thing. But a PlayStation, their power supply goes out, HDMI ports, all that shit. So I've been trying to buy PlayStations to fix them. I've only successfully bought one, and it ended up being an issue that was like beyond my fucking pay grade, basically, because I don't have the specialty heat plate to replace the processing unit. But I'm trying to buy
The
one that's just
worst
got a
the worst
like
thing ever is a PS3 because remember like that was the first console to have like touch buttons and those were garbage. Like the disk drive was always trash. They would always overheat because they used like they were still enormous, but the housing was too small for what was inside. And yeah, like the touch buttons, the disk drive, and then like the power unit, they had a problem where they were always catching fire, or like the like the little power block that goes, it's like in between the plug and the plug that goes in the console. But yeah, PS3s were always goofy, dude. Do you remember how
I
like the first gen PS3s were? They were terrible.
I thought about trying to fix one of those, but I figured they're not going to be selling right now. I mean, shit, I posted my Xbox for 350 and it hasn't sold, so I dropped it at 325. Still hasn't sold, so I might go to 3. And I think Carlos's dad said he might buy it for 250, but I don't know. Apparently, the hardware
You
on the
should
things.
just you should just build gaming computers for people and like just buy like a bulk pack of like just get like a bulk deal like cheap ass graphic cards that are like Chinese knockoffs of other shit, but it's like
Well,
sell
here's
people
the
like eight
issue
hundred
with
dollar
like
gaming computers, but they only cost you $300 to build, basically something like that, and make 500
flipping
bucks every 2 days.
consoles isn't really. You can buy it and then replace shit in it and whatever, and you're going to net like at most $50. It's not.
Yeah,
I don't think it's really worth it. Like,
well, right. Like the only thing that actually has value anymore is like it sounds stupid, but like freaking GameCubes, dude. GameCubes have gone up. They cost more now than they did brand new.
yeah, I think I got mine for like $40 back in the day.
Oh yeah. Well, in brand new, I remember they were like 199 because it was like half the
Like,
price of an Xbox first generation.
dude, I
And
miss those
now, like
the
they're
little
like,
discs that they
dude,
had.
now they're like 350. If you find a nice one on eBay with like all the original controllers, maybe a couple games, they're like 350, $400 for a game. And GameCubes are pretty fucking fun, dude. Honestly, like GameCubes are fun, but you can always get like a Nintendo emulator on your PC if you want to.
Well,
Like,
so the
it
reason
doesn't,
the GameCubes are getting popular is because the Nintendo doesn't have backwards compatibility. So,
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like Wii shit doesn't work with Switch. Switch shit doesn't work back with NES or 64.
but
Uh,
the thing with the Wii is it ran GameCube games on it, so you could still play
was that
those
the only
little.
time they did that?
Maybe, because I know
Because back
games that are on the
when
Wii.
they were cartridge, when they did cartridge stuff, none of it was interchangeable either. Like with the cartridge games.
So on GameCube, they had a fucking, which I actually heard that it was useless now, but there was an attachment for the GameCube that you put
I
it on the
remember that.
bottom, and it could play
Yeah,
Game Boy games. But the reason it's
that's what was
useless,
cool.
you have to be able to fucking connect the internet and download some supplemental software for it, basically. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
so you can't use it anymore because it's not available. Speaking of, I just now got my fucking notification from eBay that I have set up for broken consoles, 41 new listings. Yeah, literally, I have it set so anytime a PlayStation comes up, I'll be notified. Oh, shit, the one that I bought that ended up being not fixable by me, I sold it for pretty much the same amount that I bought it for. So that worked out pretty well.
Well, that's the
70
good thing.
bucks.
As long as you buy something and don't fuck it up any further than what it already was, then you can probably get most of your money back. You know what I mean?
I literally
As
bought
long
it
as you don't
and
like,
plugged it in, and I
you
was
know.
like, oh, well, I can't, like, because they have a blinking blue light of death. And as soon as I saw that I was doing that, I was like, well, can't do anything further with it. It sat in my room for a week, and then I fucking posted it on eBay, and that just ended today. And someone bought it for the same amount I paid.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad deal, dude. There's a guy I follow on Instagram that all he does is he buys like Amazon returns and sells them on eBay, and it's always stuff like basically he buys stuff that like the description for why it was returned was just defective, and it's not like an actual detailed description because that's what people do all the time. They buy something, they realize that they're not going to pay off with their credit card, or they realized they just don't want it. And so, like, he'll just buy random shit, like skiing equipment. He bought like an inner tube to pull behind a boat for $20, and it was like a $400 tube. And it said it was defective. He aired it up. It all worked fine. It didn't lose air, and like he sold it for I think like $200. Like it's just nuts. Like as long as you have like an empty garage and like some spare time, you can really flip stuff like that pretty easy.
Yeah. The cat's in there screaming.
I know this cat's fucking losing her mind too. I'm trying to feed her, but she's not dealing with it very well.
Dude, have you ever thought about how cat food is just cereal for cats?
Cat food is getting fucking expensive, and it's hard to find the shit that she eats. It's insane. I kind of regret putting her like on the because I was like, oh okay, she's a cat. She's my little kitty. I care about her. I want to feed her like the best food I can get her, all that shit. But like wet food for cats like comes in a little can. Is like for like 3 months it was impossible to find because there's like a shortage on it because I guess like all the meat processing plants were shut down for a while, and that's where all the cat food comes from. It's just like meat scraps, and so that happened. And so I started buying her Blue Buffalo stuff because that's the only brand that anywhere had in stock. And of course, that's 3 times the price. And now she will only eat that, so I can't buy the cheaper stuff because she won't even touch it. So it's just fucking ridiculous, man.
See,
I've trained this cat to drain my fucking wallet. It's insane. I'm spending $40 a month to feed this fucking cat. At
fuck.
least.
Are you serious?
Yeah, at least.
Dude, I
It's
can't
like
remember.
$1 or $2 a day.
Like, I bought cat food like a couple days ago, but before that, I have no recollection of buying cat food. Like, I just buy them this Purina indoor cat mix, and it lasts probably like 3-4 months at least because I cannot remember the last time I bought it.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I have to buy her. I think it's about like once a month, I'll buy a 5-pound bag of the Friskies seafood mix or whatever it is, sea fish or some shit. I don't fucking know. And then yeah, and then I feed her 1 can of this blue buffalo tuna every single day. And but that's the deal. Like now, she won't eat dry food by itself. She won't eat her food unless it has some of the wet food mixed in with it.
I don't know where these fucking ants are coming from, but I just now found some motorized ant killer and have cut off the supply lines.
Motorized. Hell yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, that wand.
I fucking love like the idea of products that are disposable, but they're clearly reusable. Like something with a battery pack, like a sprayer like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it's disposable, but you could reuse it if you could ever find this weird industrial 7.2 volt battery that we use for it. You know, like some weird shit that you cannot get. And it's like
Oh, fuck.
hardwired into the fucking thing.
Part of the so I was cleaning up that store today, and I opened up one of the cabinets, and they had some of those weird, unique batteries with the fucking, I think they were vape batteries. And as soon as you showed that cat, I heard mine. Yeah, that dude's gonna be
What's he
lost
doing,
as
Hip?
fuck whenever he comes back to the store. It was very fucking bad. I mentioned to the manager, like, it was like, oh yeah, I didn't know you were here all week. How's it been? I was like, yeah, it's been slow. I've just been trying to clean up. And he said, oh yeah, I've noticed it's been kind of getting dirty here. And I was like, I took that as, okay, yep, go ahead and do whatever the fuck I want. And I was on Adderall, so I just cleaned the entire fucking store and rearranged everything.
I like how that guy had about 6 or 7 different fire code violations just going on at the same time. That's insane. Like,
Oh, well,
good lord, what a fucking liability. Like, wasn't it
he
a
had,
toaster and a space heater and like something else, like a microwave or something?
that's actually what I was getting at whenever I was talking about the vape batteries. I found those because I opened up a cabinet because I was trying to find a spot to put the power strip that was connected to that heater and the toaster. And I ended up just cramming them into a cabinet. Um,
Hilarious.
there was literally
You
4
cannot have
chairs.
that much shit plugged in there.
Oh, well, there's a fucking Mac computer, like one that's just a square with an Apple icon to it. And I guess you put a display connected to it and it'll, be a fucking computer. But I was about to,
Yeah, that's
I
just
literally,
a Mac. Shit, I forgot what they call Mac Pro, or an iMac. That's what it's called, iMac Pro.
yeah, I've never fucked with Mac, but I moved 2 monitors and a whole ass Dell computer into the back room. And then like 3 different types of chairs, like some kind of masseuse chair, something that looked like a dentist chair, and then like they're all broken, of course, and then just some other random ass thing. And I let the Roomba run for like solid, I don't know, probably 2 hours, because
Use the
that
Roomba.
Roomba, yeah, there's 2 Roombas actually, but he obviously
Hilarious.
doesn't use them at all. Because the floor is covered in dust and little pieces of plastic that come with the packaging material and shit. And so I let it run in the front, and there's a threshold between the front and the back, so it doesn't go into the back. And so after it was done in the front, I just completely cleaned out the back, like made sure there was nothing on the ground, and moved it back there. Dude, there were so many fucking ants. Like that store still has an ant issue, but there was like 100, probably 300 fucking dead ants on the ground, and I had to sweep
Where
those
is
to
it
the
on?
path.
Where is it? Is it by the Quick Trip?
Yeah, it's like right down. So the Quick Trip's probably I guess it's all in Peoria. So the Quick Trip's probably closer to 41st, I guess, maybe 51st. I don't know. But the store is at 45th in Peoria.
Oh, so is it over by like the Weber's hamburgers?
It's so Weber's is on the right, and it's past that, and then I think it's the first traffic light after Weber's. It's gonna be on the left.
Huh. Yeah, that's
There's a
well,
Brookside
everything over
Diner.
there is like really old. Like all those. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, all
It's in
those
the same
buildings over
building.
there are like really old.
Like Brookside Diner, the owner of that building is the owner like that we leased the phone doctors from.
Okay.
That's why the toilet is fucking broken and it doesn't flush. It just fills with water, and that's why I'm able to pee in it, but not fucking do anything else.
Well, that's what's weird. I've never heard of like a whole chain of businesses that do not have some sort of cleaning crew. Like if you only have
Well,
one person or two people working a shift all the time, like they're not gonna stay late to
so
clean.
that phone doctors
Like
that
that's
I've been
crazy.
working at used to be owned by the manager and some other co-owner. It was called Gadget Pro, and that
Oh
was their
yeah.
own business. It was like a small business, and then the owner of that place bought phone doctors, and so that's how they have. So the place I'm working right now is the original store, and then they just took over another company.
Oh, okay, so they never like changed how they do stuff. They're just like taking on more responsibility and just like letting it fly, basically.
I I still think that we're probably the best phone repair place in uh like in Tulsa at least, because
Well, I get yeah, because I mean that's the only one with like name recognition. Because everywhere else is like there's even one over by me. I don't even know the exact name, but it's something really vague, like mobile device repair headquarters or something like that. And it's
cell
always popping,
phone
dude. There's always like tons of cars out there.
cell phone
But I mean, it's
repair
like I've never heard.
CPR.
No, no. It's not that. It's called like it's literally called like mobile device something or like mobile device headquarters or Haven or experts, mobile device experts repair, something like that. But it's just like this, like literally, like somebody just took a bunch of random words that applied to cell phone repair and just like made a business. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, nuts shit. But I'm actually about to hop off of here. I need to feed the cat and get some laundry going because I have to go to work at the office tomorrow. So
All right, well I'm off
yeah.
tomorrow, so
Hell yeah.
shit.
Well, hit me up whenever you want to come get this hookah. I'll be home tomorrow at like 6, or did you just come by this weekend or something? I don't think I'm doing shit. So,
Okay, yeah, I might come grab it tomorrow. I don't know. I got doctor appointment and shit, but I'm just doing errands, so that might be one of my late
okay.
night errands.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, just let me know. I'll be around.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Later.
Peace.